Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King. President Trump has said he expected the Iran war to last 4 to 6 weeks. It's now entered its second month, and there's talk of putting U.S. troops on the ground there. The BBC's Joe Inwood.
Thousands of U.S. Marines have now arrived in the region. More are on their way. The Washington Post, quoting unnamed Pentagon officials, says they could be used for coastal raids or to occupy Karg Island, a crucial terminal for Iranian oil exports.
The House Intelligence Committee's top Democrat Jim Hines tells CBS's Face the Nation President Trump has backed himself into a corner of sorts.
Last Sunday when he was told, and by the way, we're in exactly the same position today, oil prices now $112 a barrel and futures in the stock market down 2%. Last Sunday he realized, oh my God, I've got a financial cataclysm on Monday. So he just made it up that they're in negotiations with the Iranians. Underneath that statement, the Iranians have now realized that they have the reins.
The war has shut down holy sites in Jerusalem with Palm Sunday observances canceled at a landmark church. CBS's Linda Gradstein is there.
Israeli police stopped the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem and the Custos of the Holy Land from entering the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem's Old City on Palm Sunday, sparking outrage from religious and political leaders. In a statement, the Israeli Prime Minister's office said it was out of concern for their safety and not due to malicious intent. All Jerusalem holy sites are closed, but clergy are supposed to be allowed to worship there privately.
DHS funding in this country is still being held up by the partial government shutdown that started 44 days ago. Appearing on CBS's Face the Nation, Borders' Tom Homan says the agency has responded to Democratic demands for body cams for agents.
We already made those changes. Matter of fact, the bill they're holding up right now actually gives $120 million to buy more cameras. I've already talked to them. They want to talk about policy and legislate policy. Look, if they want to change the law, change the law.
And with long lines, the rule at airport checkpoints, Homan says TSA agents could start getting paid as soon as tomorrow. There is no TSA checkpoint for 4 astronauts hoping to fly to the moon this week. Artemis II Commander Reed Weissman and his 3 crewmates are in quarantine. And Weissman says they get to go outside to check out their spacecraft.
We're here at the Kennedy Space Center, and every chance we can, we're going out to Pad 39B and just looking at that amazing vehicle that this incredible team has put together.
The vehicle is the very tall Space Launch System rocket and its Orion spacecraft. And if all goes as planned, Artemis II would launch Wednesday to loop behind the moon, testing hardware for future landings that could come as soon as 2028. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
As NASA prepares to launch Artemis 2 to the moon, big and small businesses are cashing in. Krispy Kreme is selling Artemis 2-themed donuts around the country. Norwegian Cruise Lines has christened its new ship, the Luna. And a Kennedy Space Center area brewery is selling cans of Artemis 2 beer. A podcast from North Texas is getting young people to read.
Twice a week, the students in Christy Cooper's second grade class at Heritage Elementary School in Grapevine step up to a microphone and give a review of the latest books they've read.
My book is Who Would Win? Lobster versus Crab. Is exciting and it's about sea life.
Ooh. So Ethan gives this book 5 stars.
Cooper posts QR codes to the podcasts around the school so others can hear them.
Producing something that we can be proud of at the end.
Very cool, very fun, and you can show your parents.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
I'm Peter King, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Times of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. The high near 60. Then partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Low 51. Mostly cloudy tomorrow. A couple of showers, high 65. Then windy and warm Tuesday. Partly sunny, high 78. For AccuWeather, I'm John Feerick. 100.1 FM at AM 1020 KDKA.
And now,
Often imitated,
but never duplicated.
Lenny McAllister.
The way we bring back America and bring people together is by making sure we hold everybody accountable in a 360 fashion.
Yes, there is a change that we can believe in, but it will never come from a politician or a government program.
Lenny McAllister. Well spoken.
We got to move away from the American Idol soundbite nature of politics back to the American statesman of humble servant leadership that we used to see in politics.
If we get some common sense governing from both sides of the aisle, we can finally get Americans through the recession, not just Wall Street.
Principles or politics? I'd rather have principles.
I speak to the kids in the street. Well, I'm never going to lay down being conservative just as much as I'll never lay down being a proud African American.
I feel like a black Republican. Money I got coming in. Can't turn my back on the hood. I got love for them.
Happy sunny Sunday afternoon, everybody. You and I shall spend 4 hours together here on these Here Be Done Be radio airwaves, the technology that was established years and years ago, and this station that was established years and years ago will allow us to have a conversation together, which means that between one set of technologies, phones, and another set of technologies, radio airwaves, you and I can spend a conversation or even an afternoon together. First of all, it's News Radio KDKA. Second of all, it's Lenny McAllister. Third of all, it's 866-391-1020, where the star of the show, i.e. you, because I love you and I'm not going to make me the star of my own show. Why would I do that? Well, it's because it's my show. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I don't care if it's my show. You're the star of the show. 866-391-1020. Make sure you're calling in as well. I will have other stars on the show, particularly Terry Igioma, who, and I got to brag a little bit. Not brag, but I got to inform. It's been a very interesting week. So Terry, first of all, has a book coming out. We will talk about her book during the 3 o'clock hour. This is a person that talks about her second act in life, where she literally went from being a school administrator to being one of the leading traders in the country, that has tied that into showing people how to do trading and facilitate a lifestyle that allows them to live their best lives. So Terry Igioma will be joining me during the 3 o'clock hour. Now, the reason why I had an opportunity to meet her is because she is my imprint mate. If we were, recording artist, she'd be my label mate. She'd be like Dr. Dre and I'd be Snoop. Or she'd be Snoop and I'd be Dr. Dre. I don't know which one it is. But we would basically be one of those two things. Well, maybe not those two things. I don't know if anybody really wants to be Dr. Dre. You may want Dr. Dre's money. You may want Snoop's money. But Snoop is 54 years old. He's my age. He looks like he's 90. I don't know if I want to be Snoop ever. It is what it is. Not that Snoop's a bad guy, but I like being me. I say all that to say this. She is on with a book coming out that you gotta pre-order now. Go look online. We'll talk about the book coming up at 3 o'clock hour. Pre-order the book. The book's going to be hitting bookshelves everywhere. Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon, of course, online, everywhere in July. She's coming out by way of Frederick Douglass Books. As was announced on Monday, I will have a book coming out. Frederick Douglass Books as well. That's going to be coming out August 11th. I think Terry's book is, July 14th. My book is August 11th. Frederick Douglass Books, distributed by Simon & Schuster. So we get the muckety-mucks behind us. Good people. We hat tip both the team at Frederick Douglass Books as well as the team over at Simon & Schuster for allowing us to be able to bring these messages to you. My book's title, A Venn Diagram of One. We'll get more into my book later. I want to get into Terry's book at 3. But it's been a very big, interesting week. I see the phone lines lighting up. You know what I do. I take this segment. I will give the hat tip to folks. Then I will get to the phone lines right away. Then I will have Terry at the top of the 3 o'clock hour, so don't go anywhere. Now, this has been a very big week. This was my Good Citizen Day week. I was in Philadelphia Tuesday. I was in Philadelphia Wednesday. Had a chance to talk to over 260 high school juniors on the 80th annual Good Citizen Day presentation at the Union League of Philadelphia, an organization that was started in 1862 to help Abraham Lincoln win the Civil War. Historic place, fantastic people. I had the honor to be this really weird blend where I emceed the morning, I emceed the evening. I participated in one of the breakout sessions, which I used to lead. I didn't lead this year, but I had a chance to participate and teach without being the lead facilitator. I got a chance to give remarks. I got a chance to shout people out. It was an amazing experience. I got a chance to take my 12-year-old, whose name is Lincoln, to a place that was created to support Lincoln. That was really cool. I got a chance to see kids, future leaders in America, come from all different backgrounds. Black, white, rich, poor, boy, girl. People that were in JROTC, people that were hockey players, people that were soccer players. I got a chance to meet elected officials. I got a chance to meet people that served in our military. And we all talked about the common values of our Constitution and do it in a way where young people were celebrated and older benefactors were told thank you. That is the essence of our country. Despite what we're seeing in Washington, there's a double entendre with that. Despite what we're seeing in Washington for those that are still in Washington, and despite what we're seeing from the people that flooded away from Washington without getting legislation passed yet again. All 535 of you. And again, I know some of you have your favorite congressperson, your favorite senator. But I bet your bottom dollar, Annie, that they still came home. And there may be sun tomorrow, but there's not going to be a deal tomorrow. So my point is this. We're seeing what America is when we hit our heads up against the wall. I got a chance on Wednesday and Saturday nights to see what America could be when we do things the right way and we focus on the right values and we work together and we don't insult each other. When we're willing to call each other children of God, if that's what you're inclined to do, like some of us on the screen right now. Not giving out, self-compliments, but that was a self-compliment. I had a chance not only on Wednesday at Good Citizen Day at the Union League of Philadelphia, I was just in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania last night, where I had a chance to speak to a more intimate group but still young leaders. These young leaders weren't just from the Philadelphia area. These young leaders came from Sacramento, California, and Salt Lake City, Utah, and Dallas, Texas, not Dallas, Pennsylvania, the one that changes their name whenever we play Dallas in the Super Bowl, not that Dallas. The ones from East Texas, they were there as well to talk about our values, talk about our principles, learn more about it, and find how they can do it for the next 60 to 70 years of their lives. And it was an honor to talk to them. It's a much smaller group, but they were just as focused on doing the right things. And again, I got a chance to have dinner with them, which, by the way, if you have cheesecake at a dinner, I'm in. Don't tell my wife. This is just between us. She's not going to hear this broadcast anyway. It's a good secret between us. That said, had dinner with them, broke bread with them, gave remarks, did a robust, probably like a good 30-minute Q&A session with them as well, where they asked everything about how to be better people to how to be better Americans. Those are the things that we need to be doing, folks. Not yelling at each other, not insulting each other, not throwing slurs about, maggots or TDS. You know who you are that do that. We are at a crossroads where we're going to either be better right now or we're going to go through our 1968 moment for the purposes of division and losing hope. And it's going to last for 20 years. Again, go look back. I told these kids this. Go look back at the 1960s. We didn't get pulled out of that malaise until about the mid-1980s. And whereas the economy came back and the Cold War was ended, and America felt good about itself going into the early 1990s, we still had scars like the crack epidemic. We still had certain levels of the divisiveness, even though we finally were, quote-unquote, winning, which, by the way, we're told that this is the golden age of America and we're winning now. Go look at the economy. Go look at international affairs. Go look at domestic affairs. If this is winning, I don't want to lose. I don't even want to tie. My point is, this has been a very interesting week for me, not specifically because of the book and the pre-order links, and go buy your copy of Terry's book and my book. It's not just that. It's the fact that I've had an opportunity to really triple down my focus Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday on the civic principles and ways of life that matter, whether it's me on these airwaves or interacting with you, or interacting with young leaders, or writing, which I've also been doing a lot of. So, kudos to the people out in the eastern part of the state. Kudos to the people that played Philadelphia Freedom for the 1,000th time. I always enjoy hearing that song with the pictures from the day of Good Citizen Day. And also, kudos to all of you that already get what I'm saying. In the meanwhile, 866-391-1020. I see the phone lines lighting up. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to go to break right now. Then I'm going to go straight to the phone lines before I have Terry on at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. It's Lenny McAllister, you and I, on a Sunday, on the one and only News Radio, KDKA.
Your source for official traffic information. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
My friends at NASCO Roofing take pride in exceeding customer expectations. Stephanie from Murraysville used NASCO for minor roof repairs. When a storm created substantial roof damage, she called NASCO. NASCO worked with Stephanie's insurance company and installed a beautiful brand new roof. NASCO has satisfied thousands like Stephanie. Get NASCO on your roof. Call NASCO Roofing, 412-373-2000, 412-373-2000. Most jobs done in a day. Special financing available. NASCO Roofing, NASCO.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
Is your child glued to their phone, endlessly scrolling Instagram, watching TikTok, living on Snapchat or YouTube? If so, they may be silently developing a serious addiction to social media platforms. Countries all around the world are banning these highly addictive apps for kids under 16. Go to socialmedia66.com right now to see if you qualify for potential compensation. Lawsuits worth millions now allege major social media companies intentionally design these platforms platforms to addict kids under 18. Research links excessive use to depression, anxiety, eating disorders, inappropriate adult exposure, and even suicidal thoughts. If your child suffered serious emotional or psychological harm tied to social media use, you may qualify for potential compensation. Go to socialmedia66.com for a free case review. That's socialmedia66.com.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services by the Goldwater Law Firm in Phoenix, Arizona. Primary legal services performed by co-counsel law firms. For additional disclaimers, go to goldwaterlawfirm.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
All right, let me go ahead and jump to these phone lines immediately. 866-391-1020. I mean, it is Palm Sunday. It's only appropriate to go to a bishop on Palm Sunday first on News Radio KDK. Kind sir, happy Palm Sunday.
All right, brother Lenny, congratulations on your impending book. I had a chance to see a little bit of you last night, give you a lecture. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very intriguing. Number 2 is the job coming up. It seems like everybody's getting ready for it, even down on the waterfront. But I will tell you, people who coming in, the do's and don'ts. One do, I'm going to tell you. We got tow trucks, and they'll be on the lookout for good business. So park where you're supposed to park, and don't park illegally or somewhere where you shouldn't park, and they got a quick hook. And that the police, they should have, the public safety of this administration should have learned from the last administration how to deal with these youth coming downtown. Even though they put a bluff on them the other night, didn't show up when they said they were. But still be alert and vigilant when you see a group of youngsters in a group. They just need to be alert at all times. Number 3, Brother Lennon, we got a quarter of our military over in the Middle East. Our flank, in my opinion, is uncovered. We're vulnerable. I think we've been compromised inside of the administration. I think Trump has been compromised. I believe Kash Patel has been compromised.
Well, Kash Patel's emails have been, they have shown, look, when you have a cyber hacker, for those of you that have not been following this, the Iranians hacked Kash Patel's personal email address, since the emails go all the way back to 2010. Now, to that point, Brother Bishop, when somebody hacks you, for every one thing they show, there might be 2 things that they don't. So if they're hacking him there, did they hack him someplace else? What are they trying to show going all the way back then? What messaging are they saying to him? Are they saying, hey, you know what you did in 2013. We went all the way back to 2010, so we know about 2013. And then from there, what is that exactly? So to your point of being compromised, we already know that compromise has been publicly displayed, let alone what has not been publicly displayed.
Well, you would think that they would do something about that, even to the point of having him resign. But let me just say this, and I'll close with this. That it's funny that how much we've been compromised, and that this president still fails to do anything about Russia. And we know that I wouldn't be surprised if Russia did not give them the intel to the Iranians attacking that Saudi base where the Americans were that got hurt, and we still don't know the full story behind that because I just don't trust this administration. They'll just lie to you right to your face and think nothing of it. So why, in your opinion, and I'll close with this, but I'll say this. It has spread it. The Houthis are involved now. This president needs to back us out of it. Somebody said the Afghanistan wants to get involved. For what reason? I don't know. But I want to ask you this, and I'll close with this. Do you believe in your heart that while we won't do anything about Russia being involved in giving intel and this administration being compromised by the Russians? I appreciate you. Look forward to your guest, and keep doing great.
Thank you, kind sir. You want an answer to that question? It's the same answer from 2017. There's been a relationship between this president and the Russians that go back to his personal, private business dealings. There have been insinuations and some reports that the Russians bailed him out and loaned him money when American banks simply would not. So they kept him from economic ruin, which compromised him. There's probably a tie in all those tax returns that show where the vulnerabilities were, which is why to this day, Donald Trump's run for president 3 times, and we have yet to see tax returns. And for somebody that's a multi-billionaire, there's a reason to see that, to see if there's any vulnerabilities. He has a proclivity to cozy up with autocrats, and now he's acting like an autocrat. He tried to act like an autocrat during term 1. He is absolutely acting like an autocrat during term 2, but now he has the people that are facilitating that urge. And what stronger autocrat is there with the biggest and strongest military by way of nuclear weaponry than the Russians? So between the personal ties, the philosophical similarities, and now the political alliances in regards to political philosophy, why wouldn't he line up with the Russians? Again, this is the same president that when his own intelligence told him that the Russians were interfering in the election, he went to Putin. Putin apparently told him no. In front of the world, he said, well, I trust him. So you trust him over your intelligence. Well, he said he didn't do it, so yes. Basically, he said yes. I trust a former KGB agent over hundreds and hundreds of Americans who took an oath to defend the Constitution that did work to do that by way of their intelligence and their reports and their analysis. So nothing's changed. It's just the scale is ramped up. Now we do have boots on the ground in Iran. We obviously are involved in Iran. We're obviously taking a certain approach to Russia and Ukraine. But the philosophy has been the same since 2015. Make no mistake about that. This tone has not changed since 2015. It's just gotten more emboldened. It's gotten more leeway. It's taken advantage of certain political scenarios, geopolitical and domestically. That's what's changed. That's it. Everything else is the same. Now, I know there are people that may call themselves MAGA that are frustrated now, but the philosophy didn't change. Donald Trump didn't change. Over 10 years has not changed. It's the same. You know, it's kind of like not that I want to call it an abused spouse syndrome, but it's like, look, he was always good looking. Whether he was putting his hands on you or he was taking you to dinner, he was always a good looking, smart guy. But you got to pay attention to the worst of who they are. You got to pay attention to the everyday things that happen. You can't get caught up in the times that are nice when you know you're going to have to duck at some point in time. And sorry, there are people that voted for this in 2024 and 20 and 16 that are wondering why they got to duck all of a sudden. This is who this person has been. Don't hate him, but I'm aware. So, long form answer. The reason why he's doing this is because this is just what he does. 866-391-1020. Dick, Dave, others, I'll get to you after the news on News Radio, KDKA.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/radio.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. We are Blood Cancer United. We do the most for more people with blood cancer. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
For generations, you've listened to us in your kitchen, catching baseball games on your front porch, and ending your day as your bedtime buddy. Now, you can watch us every day on your TV with our new KDKA Radio YouTube page, or by clicking on KDKARadio.com. It's presented by Metropolitan Windows. Same great content, more live visuals. The voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. A warning for the U.S. as it considers putting ground troops into Iran.
The Speaker of Iran's parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, said Iranian forces were waiting for them and would set them on fire.
The BBC's Joe Inwood. The Iran war was on Pope Leo's mind during his Palm Sunday address at the Vatican. The Pope called for an end to conflicts in Iran and elsewhere, saying Jesus, quote, did not arm himself or defend himself or fight any war. He revealed the gentle face of God who always rejects violence. For the first time since 1972, NASA has started the countdown clock for astronauts headed to the moon. Artemis II mission specialist Christina Cook.
We had a chance to be on the pre-test brief for the actual starting of the launch countdown, so we're excited to be a part of all that.
Forecasters say the weather is 80% favorable for the first launch attempt Wednesday for a lunar flyby. CBS News Brief, I'm Peter King.
A marvelous March full of great savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, Sugardale semi-bonus whole ham is $1.19 a pound. In the produce department, fresh red ripe strawberries, 1 pound containers, 2 for $5. In our deli department, available every Friday, Coons batter dip fish sandwiches, $11.99 each. And additional savings this week, essential everyday regular unsalted butter, 1 pound quarters, $1.99 each.
At Coons Market.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Don't delay in getting that plumbing repair done. Call Palucci Plumbing today for all of your plumbing needs. From trenchless sewer repair repair and waterline repairs and replacement, hot water tanks, sewer camera inspections, to Pittsburgh body repairs, no job is too small for Palucci Plumbing. Owners Amy and Nick Palucci have been in business for 26 years, so give them a call for your next plumbing repair or replacement. Palucci Plumbing, 412-782-5050. That's 412-782-5050.
The Pittsburgh Speaker Series at Heinz Hall, presented by University of Pittsburgh, announces its 26-27 season. 7 evenings to deepen your understanding of the world around you, featuring Anderson Cooper, former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, historian Anne Applebaum, financial journalist Andrew Ross Sorkin, and former NASA Administrator Charles Bolden. The series is sponsored by News Radio KDKA and the Spanos Group of Raymond James. Tickets on sale now at pittsburghspeakers.org.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Join Beth Andrews for the Net Worth Financial Hour Saturdays at 1 to get the news and information you need to make your retirement dream a reality. That's the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews, Saturdays at 1. Net Worth Advisors, LLC is a registered investment advisor.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Partly sunny this afternoon, the high near 60. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 51. And then mostly cloudy tomorrow with a couple of showers, high 65. And partly sunny, windy, and warm Tuesday, the high 78. For AccuWeather, I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. Stay warm, get through the weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Lots to talk about. 2 to 6 right here, KDKA.
All right, 866-391-1020. Going back to the phone lines, Dick and Dayton, you're on KDK.
Hey, Liddy, happy Palm Sunday, buddy.
Likewise, kind sir, how are you?
I'm good. Liddy, I just wanted to say something. I really enjoy your show. And, you know, you were going back to this day. I'll go back to this day and look about something that I've learned in my life. My family was from, you know, and I've learned something. I've taken a lot of classes when I was working at Lowe's in history. And I go back when I believe in the democracy. I believe in the Constitution. And one thing today, I always believed of freedom of speech, and I think it's really a lot, Lenny, for the framework of America. And when your book's out, I'll make sure I go to the library and get it, you know?
I appreciate it, Dick. Thank you.
And I just want to say another thing. Don't you think the American culture and the dream goes back to the Founding Fathers, the Declaration?
Dick, I appreciate your call. I do. I think that it's been an evolution of who it's been applied to, as it should have been. I think that even when they wrote those words in 1776 and then later on in 1787, I think that those founders in the 1700s realized that there were certain things that were going to evolve past them. That the definition of freedom in regards to who was able to enjoy that in America was going to go past them. I mean, it's very easy for people to say, well, there was slavery. They didn't mean black people in the Declaration of Independence or in the Constitution. There were slave states, and there was also free states, and there was already free black people in 1776. So they knew that things would be changing. They knew that there was going to be an evolution of what freedom would be. Maybe they didn't see that it would include women voting. But I'd like to think that it wasn't 100% every single founding father was like, women will never vote. The women folk are not smart enough to vote. No. History, whether it's American history or world history, is complex. It's not like there weren't women leaders in the 1700s. You might not have seen them in office in America, but it doesn't mean there weren't queens that were making law throughout the world. And there hadn't been decades and decades and decades and decades prior to 1776 or 1787. So, Dick, to your point, I do believe that those founding principles matter, which is why I take joy in doing Good Citizen Day. I take joy in going to Founding Forward, of which I am a senior fellow. Disclaimer. But I don't feel as though it is, it's not hyperbole to talk in those terms to these young people. It's not hyperbole to talk in those terms on the airwaves here. The trick is, once you talk in those terms, how do you bring them forward to something that's meaningful, that makes sense in modern America with modern policymaking and lawmaking and this increasingly rich diversity of Americans that we have that's over 320 million strong as a populace? It still can work. It still does work, generally speaking. But it only works with intentionality. You got to do it every day in a purposeful way. 866-391-1020. Going to Dave in Wilkinsburg. You're on KDKA.
My friend, I have three topics I'd like to bring up.
I don't know if you're going to get to all three, Dave, but let's try.
The first guy that called 2 calls ago was very fuzzy. Does the KGB have no respect?
That's the reason why you weren't even going to get to 2 today, Dave. Don't we have enough conspiracy theories in America? Don't we have enough conspiracy theories in America not to do conspiracy theories about the bishop in Denora calling into KDKA? Listen, if anybody was going to have fuzzy reception, it would be me. Look, between what I say from time to time about the Trump administration, what I say from time to time about what's going on in international affairs, if there was ever going to be reception issues, it would be while I was on the air. There would be some type of issue back and forth where I wouldn't be able. Mike, are you messing with my microphone? Or is that the KGB? Because I have something to say. Do you all get my point with what I just did? We can't do that. The bottom line is, there's always been conspiracy theories in America about something going awry back and forth. And we're still here. We're able to power through it. So, that's it. No, Dave. Love you. Try again next time. When you start with reception and KGB, I got to move in a different direction. Now, with that said, if the KGB was going to do anything, if they believe they enjoy Donald Trump being in the White House, they would have done something about all those protests yesterday. The No Kings protest. Now, I got a report from a colleague here at News Radio KDK. Won't name who she or he is. Apparently, the numbers were in the millions in regards to who participated around the country. Now, as I told her or him, that's great on March 28th. The elections that really, really matter aren't until November. If the people that are organizing the No Kings rally from Pittsburgh to Peoria to Pittsburgh, California, and points in between, if they're capable of registering voters, if they're capable of raising money, if they're capable of getting people to the polls in November, then March 28th will be a historic day in regards to what will be an impact in 27 and beyond. That did happen with the Tea Party movement. I was Firsthand witness to that. I was a participant in that. I spoke at rallies. I saw people be active, but I also realize, and I've mentioned this before too, that the Tea Party movement was about a political philosophy. It wasn't necessarily about one political party versus another. It wasn't about being against one person. Now, there were some obvious anti-Obama sentiments there, and some of the anti-Obama sentiments did cross the line. However, as I have said repeatedly, I actually said this in my speech last night. I talked about a speech I gave in Ocala, Florida in 2010. And I gave 2 speeches that day. And at one of the speeches, I was told about a guy that was like, pay attention to this guy. He's only at 10% of the polls, but he's amazing, and he's going to win the U.S. Senate race. But they don't want him to win. So Charlie Crist is running as the Republican, and you know he's governor, but he's not as good as this guy here. And I know that he's down 80% to 10%, but he's our guy. He's the Tea Party guy. I'm talking about Marco Rubio. They had that momentum going into the spring of 2010. Rubio did win the primary. Charlie Crist became an independent, then became a Democrat, then became an independent, didn't win the race. Rand Paul came from the Tea Party. Tim Scott came from the Tea Party. Alan West came from the Tea Party. And they didn't come from the Tea Party. Heck, Nikki Haley came from the Tea Party. They didn't come into the mix in the Tea Party just for November. They were winning primary races. Those activists were making a point to everybody, not just one politician or one political party. Because when you make it us versus them versus for something, it's very easy to get the other side riled up too. So I saw the millions of people across the country. I saw the pictures here in Pittsburgh. However, it's March 28th, and is that philosophy going to be held against everybody or just against the Trump administration, just against Republicans? Because when you do that and then your party or the person you voted for doesn't feel like they need you anymore, all that momentum goes away. And then people either stay home or they vote you out within the next cycle. We've seen that happen too. Heck, the Republican Revolution of 1994 wasn't quite looking the same by 98 and 2000. Just putting that out there. 866-391-1020. I'll take some more phone calls. Then Terry Igioma will come up with her book, The Risk Worth Taking. I'll talk to her at the top of the hour, but I'm going to talk to you after this break here on News Radio KDKA.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKA-radio.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Ready to celebrate? Hop into Easter festivities with everything you need at Target. First, get ready for your special occasion with 25% off stylish looks. With spring vibes, vibrant colors, and fresh florals, you'll find outfits that match everyone's style. Then, fill up their baskets with endless joy. From select Easter plushies to fun toys they'll love at 20% off. Don't miss out. Make this Easter unforgettable at Target.
Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania is committed to the communities they serve, ensuring that all their customers stay safe and warm in their homes during the cold winter months. To ensure that no one goes without heat when the temperatures drop, Columbia Gas offers energy efficiency and bill payment assistance programs to make their customers' lives easier. To learn more about the valuable services available through Columbia Gas, call 1-888-460-4332 or visit online at columbiagaspa.com.
Think back to the last time you were in nature. What comes to mind? Hiking through a lush forest, floating on a lazy river, or perhaps watching a vibrant sunset on a beach full of glistening plastic bottles and food wrappers. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Here in the U.S., we generate the most plastic waste in the world, with 70% of it ending up in landfills. And by the time you're done listening to this ad, more than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit wwf.earth/plastics.
Ready to start thinking like Wall Street without leaving Main Street? Tune in Sunday mornings at 6:30 for a slice of advice with Kelton Burgess, right here on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
At a time when children are in crisis, the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up, and support starts with all of us. At home, at school, at practice, everywhere kids are.
If you're at school having a bad day, you just don't want to do anything.
I just get these thoughts like, do better. All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He's just in tears in the huddle. I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, I'm just so frustrated, and I didn't know what to do.
None of my undergraduate studies talked about mental health.
Teachers need tons of help. The Kids Mental Health Foundation is the leading organization promoting mental health for children in the U.S. and has free tools and information developed by experts.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
I often joke to people that I do not have weekdays and weekends. I only have 7 Mondays. Today is Monday number 7. Now, for Monday number 1, what the rest of you all call Monday, like real Monday, I call it 1. That day, Big K Morning Show, 8 to 9, I'll be back here with Larry Richard on air. I was on with Michael Bartley last week because Larry was, doing his thing in Florida with ye old Pittsburgh Pirates. So he'll be back in pocket tomorrow. Good to see him in person once again, 8 to 9. Of course, he'll be here at 5:30 in the morning. He'll be here 5:30 to 10. I will be here 8 to 9 to talk to him about the latest in politics. You can also, in addition to hearing me there from 8 to 9, you can, of course, go to my website, www.lennymcallister.com, where you will see all the wonderful things that I am involved in, including the book that is now available for purchase that will be shipped to your door when the book is officially released on August 11th. Again, phone lines are open, 866-391-1020. So much going on. Whether it's, the war, and it's a Rubik's Cube. It's less of a Rubik's Cube type of situation. You can solve a Rubik's Cube, even though you can probably solve this as well. So maybe it is a Rubik's Cube type of situation. The war, the excursion, because, this doesn't possibly look like a war considering all the different people that are getting involved in it now. The quote-unquote excursion impacts the economy, which doesn't have air quotes on it. It does impact quote-unquote growth in this quote-unquote golden age. Getting a little carried away with the air quotes. Anywho, one impacts the other. The tying up of resources. By the way, people talk about the Strait of Hormuz. Well, where the Houthis are, they also tie up the flow of oil to the rest of the world. Being situated where they are in Yemen. For all the energy independence that we have been talking about in America for the last couple of presidential administrations, you go to the gas pump and you see where the gas prices are. You see what the cost of living is doing right now. Is it going up? Is it going down? That tax refund that you're going to get is going to stretch less than it did just 1 year ago and 2 years ago. The whole purpose of this administration getting back in office in January 2025 was the cost of living, not liberating Iranians. Which is why down in CPAC, by the way, they had CPAC, the annual conference for conservatives to come from around the country and meet like a big pep rally with speakers. Which, by the way, because I'm your Black Forrest Gump, I had a chance to speak at CPAC 10 years ago. Hard to believe it was 10 years ago, but it was 10 years ago. Down there was division. Should we be in Iran? In fact, ironically, the head of CPAC gets on stage and says, go look it up, it's a real clip. He gets on stage and says, hey, just want to say this right now. Based on what's going on right now in the country, how many of you want to see impeachment hearings right now because of what's going on with Iran? And the crowd starts cheering. Yeah! He's like, no. That's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. Let's try again. How many of you want to see impeachment hearings based on what's going on with Iran? Oh, boo. We meant boo. We didn't mean yay. We meant boo. Very public clip. Very embarrassing. What does that mean? It means that, quite honestly, we have an opportunity now for people to be more truthful. Now, again, No Kings may have done that, but No Kings was a nice day to do it when there's nice weather 6 months away from the election that matters. Truth is, based on what we're seeing with the bottom line, based on what we're seeing with our troops, and based on what we're seeing domestically, because there's still an issue with ICE. Because somebody thinks that, well, you get so much ICE that you wanted to see in the streets, we're going to take them to your airports too, because we know how much you just enjoy seeing people with AK-47s and masks and no name tags around you while you're about to get patted down and go through an x-ray machine. So it wasn't bad enough in the streets at 2 o'clock in the afternoon while you were minding your own business. I talk about these values with these young people, whether it's Good Citizen Day, Tuesday and Wednesday, or Spirit of America in Valley Forge on Saturday night, because when you have these type of everyday instances going on, if you're not inclined to embrace those values more than you are your fear, your emotions, your apathy, or your loyalty to one side or another, if the values don't mean as much as they should, these things don't only fester, but they take root. Both flowers and weeds both have roots. It's a matter of which one we want to allow to grow and flourish moving forward, ironically enough, during America's 250th birthday. 866-391-1020. Terry Gioma is going to be joining me at the top of the hour. Then I will get back to phone calls about all this stuff at 866-391-1020. But first, the news on the award-winning News Radio, KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for moms.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
For all station contest rules, go to kdkaradio.com/rules.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Peter King. The good news is that TSA workers can expect to start getting paychecks again as soon as tomorrow. The bad news, says Borders' Tom Homan, is that funding for much of the rest of the Homeland Security Agency is tied up because of the 44-day-long partial government shutdown. Homan's message to Democrats on CBS's Face the Nation.
We just need to get the department funded. They want to talk about immigration policies. We can talk about that. But why do you got to hold the rest of DHS hostage to do that?
Hundreds of TSA officers have quit because they weren't getting paid, and it may take the agency some time to catch up. Until then, long lines are the rule. WUSA TV's Melissa Kim is at Thurgood Marshall Baltimore Washington International.
The Schwartz family's heading to L.A. They thought they got here with enough time.
Everything said 3 hours. We were here 4 hours.
But after waiting in line outside for 2 hours and counting,
we did not give ourselves enough time, I will say.
At least it's warm in the airport.
Now, many of the parents that we spoke to tell us they recommend that you get here more than 4 hours early, and more importantly, bring snacks for the kids.
With new talk of putting U.S. troops into Iran, its parliamentary speaker says Iranian forces will be waiting for them and will, quote, set them on fire. Jerusalem's major holy sites are closed because of the war, and police have blocked the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem from entering the Church of the Holy Sepulchre for Palm Sunday Mass. Here's the BBC's Sebastian Usher.
The office of the Patriarch has issued a strongly worded statement saying that this is the first time in centuries that leaders of a Roman Catholic Church in Jerusalem have been prevented from celebrating Mass in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre on Palm Sunday. The statement described it as a grave precedent that disregarded the sensibility of billions of people around the world who look to Jerusalem in the week leading up to Easter. The Palm Sunday procession that thousands of people normally take part in, walking from high on the Mount of Olives down to the Old City and ending at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, had earlier been cancelled.
For the first time since 1972, NASA has started a countdown to send humans to the moon. Forecasters say the weather is 80% favorable for Wednesday's first launch attempt for Artemis 2. 4 crew members have been at the Cape since Friday. Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen.
With the families arriving yesterday, pretty special to take them out to the pad, show them the rock in the daylight, and then again, all lit up in its spectacular beauty at night.
If all goes as planned, Artemis 2 will fly by the moon, loop back around it toward Earth, taking its crew deeper into space than any humans have gone before. It's a test flight for hardware NASA hopes to use for a moon landing starting in 2 years. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines.
These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
The NCAA men's tournament gets down to the Final Four this afternoon. It's down to the Elite Eight in the NCAA women's tournament, with UConn taking on Notre Dame and UCLA meeting Duke later on. Well, CBS News correspondent Stephen Kaufman is here with a few tips on how to live long and prosper.
Your genetic potential is to live to be 80. That conclusion from research published in the journal Science. A healthy lifestyle has the ability to increase a man's lifespan to 89, a woman to 93.
The vast majority of our ability to get to 93 is really more environmental and habits.
Dr. Thomas Pearls, professor of medicine at Boston University.
What you do with your genes really, really matters. If you do everything right, a number of studies show that you should be able to get to these much older ages.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
And I'm Peter King, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Times of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. The high near 60. Then partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Low 51, mostly cloudy tomorrow. A couple of showers, high 65. Then windy and warm Tuesday, partly sunny, high 78. For AccuWeather, I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM at AM 1020, KDKA.
Now, I think you all know that I am very much not only a man that's aware of the term, the hashtag, the iconic expression, Black Girl Magic, but I am also very much a supporter of that. Now, I'm not calling black women black girls, but you kind of understand. You've heard me say it before, and some of you are like, well, why are you saying that? Well, because it's true. That's why. And so I get an opportunity to have a little bit of that sprinkled on all of us here at News Radio KDKA. I'm talking about author extraordinaire and businesswoman extraordinaire. I'm talking about Terry Ijeoma and her new book, The Risk Worth Taking, a story of breaking free and trading for a life you love. Terry, I love you being here on News Radio KDKA. Thank you for joining me, ma'am.
Hi, Lenny. Thanks so much for having me.
You are quite welcome. So first and foremost, I have to thank you, not just for being here, but I got to thank you for something else. So you got to put on your humble brag clothes for just a second. That's okay, even if it's a little cap. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because we are both imprint mates, you're on Frederick Douglass. You're coming out in July. I'm coming out in August. It's going to be distributed by Simon & Schuster. Reading your story, reading what you've done, and knowing that you're going to be out there first has made my journey very real. Now, granted, you know the work that it takes to get a book done. So it's real from that regard. But when somebody else is going through it on your team, and you get to see the excitement that other team members have about their project, it really makes you go, oh, wow, this is really, really real. And although it was real, and I appreciate everybody's work over at Frederick Douglass Books and the Simon & Schuster team and Forefront team, I also have to say that by talking to you and your team, it makes it very real for me on my end as well. So thank you for doing that directly and indirectly for me.
Oh, thank you so much. That makes me feel so special.
Well, you're special for a lot of different ways, including the second act that ironically both of our books have. But yours was pretty cool because you did it initially as, well, I'm not really trying to have a second act. I'm just trying to do something a little bit on the side. And then the next thing you know, the doors just burst wide open. So can you talk a little bit about how you got from school administrator to being this teacher, this author, this trader that has been able to open up a brand new lifestyle, not just for yourself, but for thousands around the country?
Oh, for sure. And you're so right. This did not happen because I intentionally said, let me go out and build a #1 course in the world. No, it happened because I just needed an exit strategy. And then I kept following along my path of passion. And then doors started opening. People started asking me to teach. So starting with education, I was coming out of undergrad, I went into consulting, and then from consulting went into education. And my last job was assistant principal of an elementary school, but I was drowning. Like, I was in a really toxic work environment. I was crying in the bathroom every day, gaining weight, just all the things of just, I can't do this anymore. Is this what life is really supposed to look like? And finally, I said, you know what? I'm going to leave this job and I'm going to start doing the things that I actually love, which for me at the time, and actually still is, was travel around the world and trade stocks. I had learned about trading in college. I went to MIT and I enjoyed it, but it was just a hobby, something I did on the side. And then I said, but no, I'm going to leave the school. I'm going to start traveling and I'll just afford all the little things, the flights, the hotels. I'll afford that from trading stocks. And I did it. I actually took the leap, went out on my own, started trading, and then the people I was with started asking me to teach them. And I feel like this is how God works. Those same skill sets from education showed up again. It was like, okay, now, I didn't do that just so that you can have some skills. No, I did it so that now that you're good at it, you can teach others. So people started asking me to teach them how to trade and travel. And I started doing that. I did a class. I was in seminary, and this is around 8 years ago or so. I was in seminary at the time, and I asked them, can I borrow a classroom? And they let me teach. 71 people showed up to learn how to invest in the stock market.
Wow.
And then, then people all over started asking, like, okay, can you come to Atlanta? Can you come to LA? So I said, well, let me just put it online. And again, I think this actually was more so out of just, how do I do this the most easy way possible? People are asking me for this thing, so how do I just make it easy for myself and put it online? Once it went online, I made this course. I called it Trade and Travel because that was, how I got started. And it became a #1 bestseller in the world for about 3 years, teaching people how to invest in the stock market. And then from there, other doors started opening. Apparently, this is the story I was told, but it's true. An editor came to me and said, hey, my husband's friend is in your course. And they're really enjoying it. They say they're actually making some money from your course. Can you write a book about this? And so once again, it wasn't that I went looking to write a book, just the door was open because I was on the path of something that I was good at. And here we are. 4 years later, we have a book coming out called The Risk Worth Taking, teaching people how to invest in the stock market.
Terry, let me ask you about this because you have a fascinating biography. And I'm going to go back and forth between the biography and the book because I think that the woman that ties those two things together provide an opportunity to learn something about themselves. So what I want to ask you is this. Not everybody has an MIT education. You and me do. I'm just kidding. I don't have an MIT education. You do. But with an MIT education, you found yourself feeling a very common feeling, which is this it? Is this the dead end? Is this what life is supposed to be about? And you found the courage, because you can have all the smarts in the world, and obviously you did before you got to that moment because of the MIT education. But you found the courage and the moxie to say, I'm going to do something different. Can you talk a little bit about what that process was like? Because diving into a hobby and making it a career when you're at a crossroads, that takes a different type of knowledge of self that you're never going to get from a college.
You're so right. Getting into alignment, I think, is one of the biggest risks we're taking for anyone. And when I think about the risks we're taking, of course, in the book, I'm talking about trading stocks, but there's bigger ones. Like for me, there's your faith. Believing in God is the risk we're taking. There's just getting in alignment with what you're actually passionate about is the risk. What I realized, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, Have you ever heard of Tony Robbins has like this theory around 6 core needs?
Yeah.
So 6 of them, so I'll just say the 6. 1 is significance, 1 is contribution, 1 is certainty. Then you get into uncertainty, which is more like awe and wonder, growth, and then love and connection. My job was filling 3 of those needs for me. It was filling significance because I had a title. Oh, she's an administrator. I could go into any room and tell them I'm an assistant principal, and they clapped, right? Then it was filling the contribution because I'm helping the kids in the school, and that's good. And then the certainty. Even though I was crying in the bathroom all the time, I was certain that I would get a paycheck every week, right? I mean, every month. I was certain that I would go to the same building and they'd probably open the door for me. So it was feeling those needs. But what I have found is those weren't the most important needs in my life to me. What I actually really love is I love the uncertainty. I love awe and wonder. I love being able to be spontaneous. I think that's what the travel feels for me. Like every time I go to a new place, I get to see this new thing. Then I really love love and connection, and I wasn't feeling that at the school. I wasn't really getting along with my other coworkers. I always felt kind of isolated because of what was going on in the work environment, so I wasn't getting filled in that way. And then I wasn't getting filled on the one about growth. Like I had been in education for about 10 years at that time, so I wasn't growing. Everything was kind of the same. I could probably close my eyes and do everything. So to your point of how do you make that jump, I think I had to get really clear first on the fact that I was misaligned. And misaligned, sometimes the thing we're in can feel comfortable because we've been doing it so long, but we're still drowning because we're not aligned with what's our core values. And I heard you talking about values before. Like, that is a risk, and it is difficult, but we have to just think about what would life look like if we actually were aligned with those core values that we care about the most? What kind of impact, what kind of growth, what kind of life experiences could we have if we were more aligned? So that was really the turning point for me, when I figured out that I wasn't aligned, and then I decided I'm going to go after a better life, which is in alignment.
I'm going to come back after the break. I'm going to continue this conversation with Terry Ijeoma about her wonderful new book, The Risk Worth Taking, a story of breaking free and trading for a life you love. And I'm going to actually, Terry, prepare for this when I come back. I want to talk about tying trading and travel together, because there's a tie there, not just in her life, but also the deeper meanings behind that. I'm going to talk to Terry. I'm going to talk to you after the break here on News Radio KDKA.
Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Get connected. That's the Inside Connection this Saturday morning at 9 with your local Medicare experts from MediConnect. If you're turning 65, hear all the inside information available to seniors on the Inside Connection, presented by MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
Keeping up with bills can be tough, but you don't have to do it alone. Duquesne Light Company's Customer Assistant Program helps income-qualified customers lower their monthly electric bills. The employees at Duquesne Light realize these are difficult times, and they're committed to supporting our communities. Applying is simple. Just visit DuquesneLight.com/CAP and apply online. Don't wait. See if you qualify today. At Duquesne Light Company, they are here to help when you need it most.
I have questions for you. Do you think any of us grow up wanting to be fat and unhealthy? Do you think any of us want to be put on more meds? Do you think any of us want to keep buying bigger clothes year after year? How about feeling tired all the time and not feeling good? I think not. This is Dr. Shufo from the Weight Loss and Wellness Center. Many of these issues are positively changed with our diet. You don't know what to put in your mouth? You don't have the willpower? That's why you deal with me. Call me at 1-800-900-THIN. We can make great things happen in a short period of time.
Premium roofing starts with a team you can count on. Call the Genius Choice in Roofing, Home Genius Exteriors, where you get a dedicated project team with certified installers. Right now, get 50% off roofing materials, plus no interest and no payments till 2027. Call Home Genius Exteriors now at 855-UR-GENIUS to schedule your free no-obligation roof and attic inspection. That's 855, the letter U, the letter R, Genius. Home Genius Exteriors, a different experience. See website for details.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know that KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travel with KDK.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
All right, talking to author Terry Ichioma about her new book, The Risk Worth Taking, a story of breaking free with trading for a life you love. Terry, let's tie trading and travel together because both of them do involve that risk worth taking, whether it is investing money in a new experience or a new investment, or putting yourself through a level of uncertainty and even discomfort to get to a higher place in your life of satisfaction and experience. Talk a little bit about how you've been able to do both successfully, and then by way of your websites, your courses and the like, including the book, you've been able to tie them together.
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy? Is for a long time, I was afraid of long flights. So when we think about taking risk, like for me, I was pretty sure at the end of every long trip, I was going to die. Like, you know, I have this flight to Korea and it's 16 hours and I'm just probably not going to make it. But, you know, on the other side of this, if I do make it to Korea, I'm going to have the best time of my life.
So does that, so hold on, Terry. Does that mean as somebody that also was in seminary school, you were making a whole lot of negotiations about 30,000 feet up with God and Jesus every time you went on one of these long flights? Because we all seem to do that from time to time.
Oh, I totally do. Like, I have a prayer with the Lord. I'm like, Lord, look, so if the plane falls down, can you just let me go to sleep? Like, I don't want to feel the crash. Like, please, just.
And if I get there, I'm going to do these 4 things. I mean, look, I don't know if I'm Catholic. So literally, usually with us, if it's some type of negotiation with God, it's usually a rosary, it's a Hail Mary, it's something. And when I get on the ground, I'm going to go to Mass, you know, for 5 straight days or whatever the case may be. Go ahead.
You can count on me. I will be the most dedicated. Yep. Definitely. But so thinking about risk we're taking with travel and also with trading. So one big thing is with travel, I took a big risk. The book is based on my life. The girl's name in the book is Erin, but it's based on me. So one of the biggest risks was I was going with a group of people that I had never met before. And we were traveling in one country at a time for like a month at a time.
Wow.
And and the goal was I was going to be on this trip for a year. So I'd go to live in 12 different countries, and I only ended up doing 3 months because I had to come back and finish seminary. But
so were you trading while you were doing that?
Yes, that's how I was affording it.
Okay. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things was I'm taking a risk because I've never met these people before. I've never been to the place before, but I just think this is going to change my life. And you have those same thoughts, though, when you think about trading, especially for new people who've never traded before. There is a serious fear of losing money. And there's a fear of also, I don't really know it well enough, so maybe somebody else should be the one to do this. Maybe I should give it to a financial advisor. This seems like something that, the old boys, they do, but not me. I'm not good enough. Like all those things start coming into play when you think about investing, which to me, now that I've been investing now for 16 years, I think really that's just a mindset issue around understanding knowledge. Like if we can get education to people and show them that actually pressing the buttons is not that hard. Actually, the reward to risk ratio on this is actually your reward is 3 times your risk. It's a learning thing, but people don't see that until they get over the mindset piece.
Terry, let's talk a little bit about that mindset piece, because in particular, the mindset allows you to get through the ups and downs of taking risks, whether that's in trading or in travel or in life, when you do that second act like you did. Talk a little bit about how you are able to teach people through your own experiences, teach people how to get through the ups and downs of taking that risk of investment, because as you well know, investment means longer term. Yes, it might be you're trying to flip a trade every now and then, but there's still a longer term goal in mind, whether it is, hey, these travel experiences, this trade experience, or trading in for a new life, that type of experience. How do you show people how to navigate that up and down without going nuts in the process?
There's 2 things I'd say there. So one, and I actually cover this in the book, there's a whole section on caution, and she loses some money, and then she has to figure out risk management. So the first key to being able to take a risk without being so worried is building a trading plan. So I actually have 7 steps that I take every time that I take a trade, and that includes like looking for healthy companies. It includes making sure that we have a reward to risk ratio and we've done our quantity sizes. It includes then actually looking at stock charts to figure out the best price to get in and out. So one, having a trading plan helps. And that's in any risk. When you have a plan, then, and you stick to your plan, the discipline piece is also important, then you can have a little bit more security in this risk I'm about to take. You may not know the outcome. Like I think about football players, like they take a big risk every time they go on the field. They may not know the outcome, but they do prepare. They put on their pads, they have plays, to protect themselves. The same thing that we do in trading, we have a plan. And then when I think about the worth it part, because of course there are lots of risks, but not every risk is worth it. In trading, to know if a trade is worth it or not, we have a formula called a reward to risk ratio. And for me, I look at stock charts. I'm a technical analysis trader, and I can determine based on past performance, what's the possible risk on this trade? Like how far down can it go? And then what's the possible reward? Now, that's not 100% always going to work because we're looking at past performance, and that doesn't always predict future performance, of course. However, it gives me a lot more data. And any scientist, anybody can tell you when you have more data, then you can make a more educated decision. So to make sure it's worth it even in life, we also have to look at what's the risk to reward ratio and do that thinking in advance. So what happens if I stay to the path that I'm on? What happens if nothing changes? That's the risk. Now what's potentially able to happen if I do make this risk? Like I'm thinking about one of the biggest turning points in my life was deciding whether to leave the school or stay. My principal actually offered me to come back the next year, and so I had these 2 decisions. Yes, I stay, and I stay at the school. What does that trajectory look like? Or no, I leave, and I go travel and trade like I've been doing. If I had stayed at the school, because I'm an overachiever, I still would have had impact. The kids at that one school would have, probably been graduating from middle school now, going into high school. I would have had an impact on their families. I would have been crying. My own self would have taken a hit, but those kids would have been good. But then I think about, but the fact that I said yes to leaving the school and doing my own thing, 40,000 people have been able to learn how to invest. Hundreds of thousands have been able to hear about investing from our different socials and platforms. Millions of dollars, literally, being created, never having to work again. All those things were possible. So that's the reward side. And of course, I wouldn't know all that in the past. I didn't know any of this was going to happen. But just when you think about the possibility of taking the risk versus not, you can start figuring out if it's worth it.
And I'm going to continue that because there's something else that came of value that I want to get back to when I bring Terry back on after the news. Now, listen, I'm being selfish because I'm keeping her on longer because, one, I'm having fun. It ain't even about you all out there in audience land, News Radio, KDKA listeners. Well, yeah, it is. I'm having fun, but she provides an awful lot of value, does she not? And I want to talk about that after the news. I got Terry Gioma sticking around with me. She's talking about her new book, The Risk Worth Taking, by way of Frederick Douglass Books, distributed by Simon & Schuster, and available now. If you go to barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com, go pick it up and talk more with her after the news on the Marconi Award-winning News Radio, KDKA.
With Aetna, I always get a quick answer, and I don't have to search on the internet. They go above and beyond to help me with whatever I need.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a Best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with access to convenient care options. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Join Rob Pratt every Sunday at 11 a.m. for Black and Gold Sunday presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer. Rob keeps you posted on Pittsburgh sports with 2 hours of exciting talk. That's Black and Gold Sunday, 11 to 1, presented each week by Coons Market.
As veterans, we've dealt with noise. From chains clanking as they're clamped onto cargo, to orders coming down the chain of command. We can handle that kind of noise. Back home, the noise is different. Seems like everyone's talking all at once and over each other because they just want to be heard. They're taking selfies and oversharing. But we know that it's not about hearing. It's about listening. Listening to what's actually happening with our fellow veterans. Understanding each other because we share the same experiences, the same vocabulary, following the same paths that others have walked. If only we can pick up the trail.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. On the 30th day of the war, there's new talk of putting U.S. ground troops into Iran. Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford on NBC's Meet the Press.
We're not trying to be able to go in and to be able to occupy the country or to be able to have a long-standing, long-term war. No one wants to see that. So I'm looking forward to us getting this mission complete and getting out of there.
New Jersey Democrat Cory Booker tells NBC Americans are paying for an unwanted war with sky-high prices for gas and other things.
This president is off the chain, and we are in a global crisis of his causing.
Borders Czar Tom Homan says TSA employees should start getting paychecks again as soon as tomorrow. But he tells CNN State of the Union other Homeland Security workers are hurting because of the partial government shutdown.
There's a lot more, many more, thousands of more, tens of thousands of more DHS employees who are not being paid that need to be paid.
That shutdown is now in its 44th day. CBS News Brief. I'm Peter King.
Now that I'm retired, I'm worried about making ends meet. Food, medicine, and rent cost more every day. And that's why I used benefitscheckup.org. It connected me to an extra $1,000 a month. Benefitscheckup.org is a free service from the National Council on Aging. In a few clicks, older adults like me can see if they might qualify for money-saving programs. If you're on a fixed income, benefitscheckup.org might help you too. For free, visit today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Think back to the last time you were in nature. What comes to mind? Hiking through a lush forest, floating on a lazy river, or perhaps watching a vibrant sunset on a beach. full of glistening plastic bottles and food wrappers. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Here in the U.S., we generate the most plastic waste in the world, with 70% of it ending up in landfills. And by the time you're done listening to this ad, more than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit wwf.earth/plastics.
Y108 presents Odyssey, The Night Before, powered by Bowser Chevrolet, starring Jason Aldean.
Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? I'm Jason Aldean.
With special guests John Morgan and Shane Prophet. Wednesday, April 22nd, inside the Event Center at Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh.
Y'all say we have a little bit of fun. Y'all ready?
You can't buy a ticket to this show. You can only win your way in. Full details at y108.com. Presented by Miller Lite and brought to you by Giant Eagle, Pool City, True Green, and Broken Bow Records.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Partly sunny this afternoon, the high near 60. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 51. And then mostly cloudy tomorrow with a couple of showers, high 65. And partly sunny, windy, and warm Tuesday, the high 78. For AccuWeather, I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. Stay warm, get through the weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Lots to talk about. 2 to 6 right here, KDKA.
Terry Igioma has been so kind to continue to bless these airwaves here with me on News Radio KDKA. And I want to get to this question, Terry. Again, she is the author of the new book, The Risk Worth Taking. It is available for pre-order right now. It hits bookshelves across the country. Is it July 14th, Terry?
Yep, July 14th.
That's what I thought. I knew it was July. I knew it was a month before mine. I was trying to figure out which day in particular. It's July 14th, everybody. It's Barnes & Noble and Amazon and everything else. You can pre-order now. But if you want the physical book, it will get to you July 14th. I want to ask you this question because this is important. You talk about the risk worth taking and the life that you could possibly have if you're willing to take that risk. Well, you've had to do that a lot as an African-American woman in places that are not, generally speaking, most, affable and available to African-American women. I mean, heck, even seminary alone could have its own little nuances going through that process as a black woman, let alone MIT, let alone the trading world, let alone being a second act American that's saying, no, I was good at this, but I think I'll be even better at that, let alone climbing the charts, if you will, to get to #1 with your courses. Talk a little bit about what that experience has been like, considering that it's amazing just as an American story, but there's a special asterisk, a special sauce, a special something about being a black woman making that trek, making that journey.
Yeah, I've had to learn a lot. I think the biggest thing I've had to learn is how to have tough skin. Like, because of, which is unfortunate, but because of the way that I look, oftentimes people underestimate me, which at some points can be a bonus. I love sitting in a room of people being the wealthiest one in the room, but sitting in the corner and nobody suspects a thing. Like, that is the best. Like that, I enjoy that. It's like an internal game. But on the flip side, there also does come some challenges because, you know, when you're trying to tell someone how to invest, unfortunately, when they see a white man talking about investing, all of a sudden, everything he says is the most truest, realest thing possible. I can say the exact same thing, and all of a sudden they're asking about my credentials. Well, how do you know? What school did you go to? Where did you learn that? You didn't ask that guy none of those questions. You just assumed he was right. But with me, I've got to come with like a whole resume litany. You want my receipts. You want to see my brokerage account. I've had actually quite a few people on YouTube like, well, let me see your brokerage account. But that's unsafe. I'm like, if I gave, like, do you give your bank account information to everyone?
Yeah.
Like, do we ask them to, like, well, show us everything in your bank? Like, I get wanting proof. That's a logical human thing.
But wanting proof 3 different times just because of how you look that's a different story. And that's what I wanted to ask you about is how, you know, going through that, how you've been able to not only have your own courage to do that, but I mean, obviously you're not going to be the only person that is coming from a second act perspective that has to go through those same exact obstacles. Show them how you did it, Terry.
Yeah, I would tell anyone that's going through this, first you've got to get really secure in your why and be able to come back to it. My why is, one, of course, I wanted to provide a really great path for my family. Like, I wanted to make sure that I don't have kids yet, so I wanted to make sure that all my cousins, and I call my cousins' kids my niece and nephews, like, I wanted to make sure that they could go to education, so it was building an education fund. Then I had to get a bigger why, because once that was achieved, it was like, okay, well, now what? What's the point? So then it was like, okay, I want to actually see a generation that doesn't have the same narrative that trading is bad. Like, for a long time, there was this just really bad stigma around traders. If you were a day trader or a swing trader, people just thought you were gambling, and that was just, oh, you can't do that. The tides are starting to turn. Like, people are more open to investing, and they're more open to more ways to invest than just buy and hold. But there is still like a lot of just negativity around investing. So now my bigger why is like, I'm a catalyst for that change. I want there to be a generation of people where investing is normal. It's a normalized thing. And if you're not investing, then you're the fool, you know, like, so I want to be part of that narrative, and that's what drives me.
No, there's two things to that, Terry. Number one, your tone, the way you explain things is very welcoming to that individual to come into the fray. So you're succeeding. So that's number one, and that actually leads to a very more specific question that I have for you, because you did drop 2 terms for people that want to dive into this world they may not be familiar with. They may have heard it, but they don't know exactly what it is. So you mentioned day trader and you mentioned swing trader. Explain a little bit for the people out there in radio land, as they like to say, what those 2 terms are.
Sure. So there's 2 different segments of investing. There's active investing and passive investing. Passive investing is more the buy and hold, retirement. I invested and I leave it alone. Usually those people are wanting to see some outcome in the future, like retirement. Active investors, we are trying to invest more actively for income. So we're trying to make sure we can use this to pay our bills, use this to pay for my travel trips, use this, like, I need to get in and out. Less than a year, anything less than a year is active investing. So then you say, okay, well, with active investing, okay, what happens if I buy something today and I sell it today? Well, that's a day trade. What if I buy it today and I sell it tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now? That's a swing trade. So both of those are just different types of active investing for income.
Appreciate that explanation. Talking to Terry Ijeoma. Her new book, The Risk Worth Taking, a story of breaking free and trading for a life you love, is available now for pre-order. I know that you all are sick of me saying that, but I'm going to continue to say it because this is a fascinating book, which goes to this, Terry, if I may. I'm going to get to something else before I let you go, but I want to go to this now. The first time I heard your name, I heard right after your name, and her book is going to be a bestseller. Watch. And I was like, wow, that's high praise. And I wanted to know why. And so that individual and other individuals that were talking to me told me why. Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot and say, brag on yourself and say this is going to be a best-selling book because I believe it, you believe it, but some people may think, well, look at those two. But what I want to ask you is, what's the why? You talked about a why earlier. What's the why behind somebody should go buy this book to help them get to that next phase of life that they're trying to get to? What's that why?
Well, first, you've never heard investing like this. It is a story, so it's a novel. And most of the times when you're hearing about investing, it feels like a textbook. It feels like a how-to. The people who originally came to me, they wanted a competitor to like In the Zone or some of the other books that are very like strict, you know, you do this, you do that kind of way. But this is a story. So you can sit by the pool and read it like you're, you know, relaxing. And then you realize, oh my God, I actually learned some stuff. One of the editors of the book, her dad has been in investing all of her life. Like he's been a broker in one of the top firms for all of her life. She said it wasn't until she read my book that she actually understood about investing. So I think just the fact that it's a story and more open and like it's reachable, like you'll learn, it's simpler. You're going to enjoy this. And I think that's why it's a bestseller, because not only are you learning about investing, but you'll enjoy it.
Look, Terry, if you teach and I'm keeping you for one more segment, if that's okay with you, ma'am. Is that okay?
Sure.
Listen.
Yeah.
Here's my take, everybody. If she teaches her classes the way she has done this interview, she will make you money. And to her point, her new book, The Risk Worth Taking, is a book you got to pick up. Got to pre-order it. You got to crack it open in July, and you got to make the most of it, and you got to spread the word. Terry, I'm going to keep around for one more segment. Lenny McAllister talking to Terry Ijeoma on News Radio KDKA.
When the weather turns bad, turn to us for the best news, weather, and traffic information from the KDKA Radio Storm Center. Presented by Duquesne Light Company, larger than light, and brought to you by Butler Transit Authority. Online and on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Is your child glued to their phone, endlessly scrolling Instagram, watching TikTok, living on Snapchat or YouTube? If so, they may be silently developing a serious addiction to social media platforms. Countries all around the world are banning these highly addictive apps for kids under 16. Go to socialmedia66.com right now to see if you qualify for potential compensation. Lawsuits worth millions now allege major social media companies intentionally design these platforms to addict kids under 18. Research links excessive use to depression, anxiety, eating disorders, inappropriate adult exposure, and even suicidal thoughts. If your child suffered serious emotional or psychological harm tied to social media use, you may qualify for potential compensation. Go to socialmedia66.com for a free case review. That's socialmedia66.com.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services by the Goldwater Law Firm in Phoenix, Arizona. Primary legal services performed by co-counsel law firms. For additional disclaimers, go to goldwaterlawfirm.com.
As veterans, we've lived through ups and downs. For many of us, alcohol's been there for both. Over time, we realized that a bottle of beer isn't a bottle of beer, and 2 fingers of whiskey are more than just the liquid. What we're really consuming when we drink is time. Sometimes it's a good time. Time with new friends in a bar, old friends over cards, or just a moment to unwind at the end of a long day. Sometimes it's wasted time. Time that could be better spent focusing on things we never finished and reconnecting with those we lost touch with or pushed away. But sometimes that drink is time that gets out of hand. It's time spent apologizing. And sometimes it's time with a heavy cost. If you feel your alcohol consumption has become unmanageable, VA has treatments to help you manage. Visit va.gov/recovery.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Pittsburgh Mayor Corey O'Connor. Very atypical with the NFL draft and all the things that are going on.
We're all excited. You know, it's coming fast. But we also want Pittsburghers, and I say this wherever I go, this is also your city. This is your draft. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of people coming from across the country, but we want Pittsburghers to be ambassadors.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
Join Beth Andrews for the Net Worth Financial Hour Saturdays at 1 to get the news and information you need to make your retirement dream a reality. That's the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews, Saturdays at 1. Net Worth Advisors, LLC is a registered investment advisor.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
The book is called The Risk Worth Taking, a story of breaking free and trading for a life you love. The author, the award-winning in her own right, Terry Gioma, got her here on News Radio KDKA. But you know, there's a couple things I got to put out there, ma'am, before I let you go. Okay? So.
Okay.
All right, number one, don't be scared. It's all good. Don't be scared about. Number one, so you all got to understand. You know, you hear me talk about the South Side all the time, and I ain't talking about the South Side of Pittsburgh. So I'm talking about the only real South Side that matters. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm going back and forth, and I look at one of the first emails I get from Terry, and I see a familiar area code. And I go, oh, did you spend time in Chicago? She goes, yeah, I spent time in Chicago. So then it's like, oh, now not only are we imprint buddies and kin, but like we cool, like tight because we got this Chicago bond. So I have to ask you on the air, within reason, of course, give me a little bit about your South Side experience, because I was all about, you know, Stony Island and Cottage Grove and 87th Street when WVOM was over there, and going to the Loop and going to the Tribune building to do my CNN hits. So I kind of was like the DuSable Bridge down. Where were you back in those days?
Oh, I was all over the place because I was in Chicago twice. First, I was in Chicago with Teach for America, but then I worked for their Houston Institute, so I traveled back and forth from Chicago to Texas with training teachers. And then the second time I was in Chicago, I was there for ministry. So I worked for an after-school ministry that had offices in Altgeld Gardens and Cabrini Green, so all of the neighborhoods that were like low, Austin neighborhood. So I was literally all over. But the South Side was important to me because I originally was in like Wrigleyville area and then moved down to the South Side to buy my first condo. And so that was the first place I felt like I grew up, like another risk we're taking, buying a house, right? And then I bought my condo in 2007, right before the crash in 2008.
Oh, wow.
Because at the time, they were going to have the Olympics was coming. So Chicago was bidding for the Olympics.
Yes, they were.
They said they were going to build up the South Side. So I was all part. Like, that was a risk that maybe wasn't worth it. But, you know, you do what you can at the time. So I came down to the South Side for the Olympics. We didn't get it. But it ended up being one of the best decisions of my life because I started being a minister at Fellowship Church, which is on the south side of Chicago. I was a minister for their middle schoolers. And there was literally a bus that went from my house right down to the church, and I could get there easy. So
was it the 4, the 2, or the 6?
Ooh, I wrote the 4, and then there was another one, though, that went west, like east and west.
Okay.
I can't remember the number right now. But, yes, I love Chicago. I love the skyline, the lake, the people, the food. Oh, man, you're making me miss it now.
The Taste of Chicago is coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm just putting it out there. So just putting that out there. So that goes to the second question before I let you go. The Taste of Chicago, and we were talking about a Frederick Douglass Books kind of event or two. I'd love for you to come to Pittsburgh, but if you come to Pittsburgh, we gotta also go to the Chi as well. I would love the opportunity to have that tour. And I know that's up to your people, my people, the people at the imprint. I know that we had a chance to talk to Ken Morse Jr., who is a descendant of Frederick Douglass. I know he's up for that. But I'd be honored to be on stage with you. You are fascinating, and you're a true American story. And again, people get caught up in, they must look like they did in 1776 or even 1976. The bottom line is what you have done with your career is the epitome of what we need modern day Americans, including African Americans, our people, to be able to see. And kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you, Lenny. I really appreciate it. The book definitely, it goes through these 4 C's: courage, clarity, caution, and confidence. And I feel like everyone will find themselves or see themselves in one of those sections, and it'll be an uplifting story for them. So, yeah, The Risk We're Taking is a great book. I hope people buy it.
One final thing before I let you go. I know that, I'm gonna pitch the book one final time, The Risk Worth Taking, a story of breaking free and trading for a life you love. Again, Frederick Douglass Books, distributed by Simon & Schuster, hits bookshelves on July 14th. It's available for pre-order now. Where else can they find your work? Because I know your courses are still out there. I know you have at least one other website out there that's not only pitching the book, but also pitching the current work that you're doing. So before I let you go, can you tell us a little bit about that, please, ma'am?
Yes, if they go to theriskwworthtaking.com, theriskwworthtaking.com. I say the because A Risk Worth Taking is a romance novel, so make sure to put The Risk Worth Taking. They'll see more about me, like where to buy the book, but then also we have some free resources. Like I just did an options webinar that was free, and they can go to the Learn on that page and get some of the resources. And then Trade and Travel. If you go to Trade and Travel on anything, YouTube, Instagram, the website tradeandtravel.com, you'll see our bigger courses.
Fantastic. Terry Giamoma, thank you, ma'am, for joining me here, Child of God. I appreciate you very much for spending an hour with me on News Radio KDKA.
Thank you, Lenny. I appreciate you having me.
No problem. I'm looking forward to catching up to you again soon. Again, that is author and business leader and business trade leader and teacher and all things contributing to our society. I'm talking about Terry Giamoma. She is the author of the new book, The Risk Worth Taking. Go check that out. Go to barnesandnoble.com, go to amazon.com, but also go to Trade and Travel and check out some of her stuff there as well. As for me, 866-391-1020, I will be opening up these phone lines, 866-391-1020, after the news. We're hitting halftime, but I'm not going nowhere. I'm just going to get some water, relax. I'll be here after the news on News Radio KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for moms.
It's another marvelous month of March and some great savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, Amish Country Farm brand spiral cut hams are $2.49 a pound. In the produce department, extra large golden ripe pineapples, 2 for $6. In the deli, available every Friday, Coons batter dipped fish sandwiches, $11.99 each. An additional savings this week, selected varieties of Stone Ridge Creamery ice cream, 48-ounce containers, 2 for $7.
At Coons Market.
Why deal with crowded hotels and packed pools when you can have the whole place to yourself? At SWAC Vacation Rentals, some homes come with private lazy rivers, indoor pools, massive game rooms, and outdoor kitchens built for the whole crew. These aren't hotel rooms, they're private vacation playgrounds, managed by us, cared for by us, and ready when you arrive. And when you book direct, you keep more of your vacation budget where it belongs, with you. Find your unforgettable stay at SWAC. SWACKvacations.com. That's SWACKvacations.com.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King. On day 30 of the Iran war, thousands of U.S. Marines are in the region, and Iran's parliamentary speaker is warning the U.S. not to try a ground invasion. The BBC's Thomas Becker.
In his message, Ghalibaf says Iran will rain fire on American troops if they attack and punish America's regional partners. He added that Iran's missiles were in place.
New Jersey Democratic Senator Cory Booker tells NBC's Meet the Press the president has circumvented Congress to fight a war nobody wants.
This president is pushing us further and further into a conflict with no foreseeable off-ramp and thousands of more troops moving into that region, and he still has not come to Congress for any kind of authorization for what is clearly not just a war, but the biggest military engagement we've had since the war in Afghanistan.
On the same broadcast, Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford was asked if Trump needs congressional approval for putting troops in Iran.
If we have a long-standing war that's happening, go back again to what happened in Iraq or in Afghanistan, yes. If this is to protect Americans and to be able to make sure that we're in there for a season and we're stopping and getting out, that's very, very different.
War worries have canceled many Palm Sunday observances in the Holy Land, including a traditional procession in Jerusalem. Israeli police stopped Catholic leaders there from entering the Church of the Holy Sepulchre because they said it was a potential target for attack. Democratic demands for changes for ICE include body cams for officers and agents. Borders our Tom Homan tells CBS's Face the Nation it will happen, but not yet.
There's a plan in place right now for CBP and ICE to go body cameras across the entire agency. However, the money to do that is sitting with the Congress fighting over the shutdown.
Forecasters say the weather is 80% favorable for NASA's first launch attempt for the Artemis II moon mission Wednesday. Pilot Victor Glover looks forward to flying the new Orion spacecraft.
We're going to not only fly the vehicle manually, we're going to, execute the 6 degrees of freedom, so translating forward, backwards, left, right, up, and down, and then also being able to rotate, pitch, yaw, roll.
Back-to-back verdicts last week against Meta and YouTube are the first to hold social media companies liable for harming young people. Former Trump administration Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams on CBS's Face the Nation regarding legislation.
The policy is going to be hard, but Australia's already done it. They've banned social media for
people under 16. You have 25 states, I believe, that are to the point where they're discussing or have legislation keeping social media and phones out of schools. And we need to really understand the harm that's occurring to our children because of this unfettered access to screen time and social media.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
As NASA gets ready to launch the Artemis II moon mission, businesses are cashing in. Krispy Kreme is selling Artemis II themed donuts around the country. Norwegian Cruise Lines has christened its new ship Luna. And a Kennedy Space Center area brewery is selling cans of Artemis II beer. CBS's Steve Kathan is here with tips for a better and healthier workout.
The best thing before workouts, practices, or games?
The biggest source of energy are your carbs.
Sports medicine doctor Bianca Edison recommends carbs and protein from eggs or beans and at least 3 liters of water a day.
If you're even 3 to 5% dehydrated, that triggers thirst, and so you're already behind the curve.
It changed things dramatically for 13-year-old California soccer player Wesley Moss.
Ankles and knees don't hurt as much, and my body can support all the playing that I do.
Steve Kathan, CBS News.
And I'm Peter King, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Times of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. A high near 60. And partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Low 51, mostly cloudy tomorrow. A couple of showers, high 65. Then windy and warm Tuesday, partly sunny, high 78. For AccuWeather, I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli.
The Giant Eagle Feed the Need Radiothon produced an amazing result on Tuesday for the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. In the 7th year of the simultaneous fundraiser on all 5 Odyssey Pittsburgh stations, sponsors and listeners outdid themselves again, donating the funds to purchase 331,000 meals, 70,000 more meals than last year. As Brian Goulash, the food bank's VP of Marketing and Communications, said, our neighbors always step up. Neighbors helping neighbors. That's what we do. We're the city of champions. Goulash also said the generosity of the community never ceases to amaze him, and it never ceases to amaze us. Thank you for helping us multiply from one year to the next, a community response to food insecurity.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
All right, let me go back to the phone lines, 866-391-1020. Thanking Terry Igioma for joining me. Like I said, she's my imprint mate, kin, and wonderful, wonderful second act American. Somebody that went from being a school administrator to a day trader extraordinaire that is teaching courses on helping others do the same thing she's done, written the new book, The Risk Worth Taking. Go check her out. Again, by way of Frederick Douglass Books, distributed by Simon & Schuster. Her book comes out mid-July. My book comes out mid-August. And I'm looking forward to not only keeping up with her, but also ideally going on tour. And ideally, look, for those of you that follow me online, and I'm getting to the phones in just a second. For those of you that follow me online, you know what the book cover looks like. And the two bridges from the two cities that I have on the cover of the book, one is the Clemente Bridge, and one is the DuSable Bridge. You know where the Clemente Bridge is. It's here. The DuSable Bridge is the very infamous bridge that goes over the Chicago River, the very river they turn green every St. Patrick's Day. That, of course, is in Chicago. So I'd love to have an opportunity to tour with Ken Morse Jr., the descendant of Frederick Douglass, as well as Terry and me. That would be really, really cool. Stay tuned, because I have to imagine that folks in the know are trying to put that together. 866-391-1020. Speaking of people in the know, Cynthia from Florida is on the line, so let me go ahead and get to her. She is now on KDKA.
Hey, Lenny, give me the title of your book again.
It is A Venn Diagram of One. It is currently available for pre-order by way of Barnes & Noble and Amazon and the like. It is also on the same label that Terry's book is on.
Okay, yeah, I got her book. I went to my book thing and put it in my list. But listen, I called before, and I waited to listen to your guest. We are, oh my God, we're 89 seconds away from doomsday, according to doomsday clock. Now that the Houthis have come into this, they will close the Red Sea. It cost the shipping industry $200 billion. But here's where we are now. Tehran, after all the missile strikes that Trump said he was going to negotiate and we're making peace and blah, 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 they don't have power. This is getting ready to get real. That does not diminish their capabilities to fire off their missiles.
Nope.
And they will take out that entire Middle East. After we have watched Israel almost hit some of their civilian nuclear power plants. I mean, how God forbid that they can have nuclear energy. And I've said before, the person that we assassinated, Khamenei, he forbid them developing nuclear weapons. His son may not be so kind.
Yeah, and Cynthia, that is it. That's the interesting point. People, they fail to realize that when President Trump said, "I don't really care if they're a democracy or not," that's a break from even what the Bush. That's a break from the Bush doctrine from 25 years ago when it comes to issues in the Middle East. So if you don't care if the regime change leads to democracy, then there's only certain other types of governments that you're going to have. One's an autocracy. That doesn't always seem to work out well. Go ask the North Koreans. And the other one's a theocracy. Oh, wait. That's exactly what they have in Iran right now. And they've had this since 1979.
But, Lenny, we always need an enemy. And I have told people this before. You know, when Khatami was allowed to come back out of exile. I think he was in trance. We always need an enemy. So you set up another person and say, okay, we hate them. We have to attack them. Most of the people who've been killed in this attack on Iran have been women and children. So they didn't care about those people at all. This is just incredible. It's just incredible what's happening. But it's getting ready to get real. You saw the Saudi base destroyed in our planes. Some of those planes can't be replaced. And I heard you mention something about the excursion. When you said something about that, was this a clip he actually made a comment about?
Yeah, he literally did that a couple of weeks ago. He did not call it a war. He said it's an excursion. So that was me being highly facetious. Because, if this is an excursion, I don't want to see what a war is. Just like I said well earlier, I said if this is winning, if the American economy, and this is the golden age of America, if the American economy is winning right now, I don't want to see what a loss is. I don't even want to see what a tie is.
Absolutely correct. And it's going to get worse. I'm telling you. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I mean, it's going to get worse.
Well, and Cynthia, I appreciate your call. Here's the thing, though. With what happened over the weekend, we will again see what Americans want to do to redress their government and then have real leaders come into play. Nobody, look, there's a shutdown, right? Nobody should have left Washington, D.C. I don't give a flip about the primary elections. I don't care about recess. Let's break it down. When kids run out of snow days and it snows again, guess what? They're making up those days regardless. Case in point, go ask your kids with all the snow days and ice days this year. They've already lost 2 days, whether it's around Easter break or what they're going to call spring break if you don't go to a Catholic school or a Christian school. Whether it was President's Day, where they had to go to school on President's Day when they previously would have that day off, they've already lost 2 days off. Why? Because there was something to make up. They went to school. Now, I know they're grown people, but it is infinitely more important collectively for them to do their job in Washington, D.C., on both sides of the aisle than it is for a school of 200 kids to go to school on President's Day because they missed some school days because of ice and snow. But if we're going to stick to that standard when it comes to 200 kids at a grade school, why can't we stick to that standard when it comes to 535 people in Washington, D.C.? And before you sit there and go through your iterations of it's the Republicans, it's the Democrats, it's not my congressperson. My congressperson is swell. She signed my arm when I saw her at a rally last week. My guy is swell. He signed a MAGA hat for me and gave me the Donald Trump thumbs up while he did it, and we took a picture. It was a selfie. I sent it to Nana. Before you get into that, if your favorite congressperson is not still in Washington, D.C., brokering a deal with both sides of the aisle, rather than going through talking points, blaming the other side of the aisle, they are part of the problem. And they sit in a gerrymandered district with no term limits and a pension that's coming as long as they sit in that safe district. And you're part of the problem. Stop calling leadership people with titles. Stop calling statesmanship the person that can have the best insult on Meet the Press or Fareed Zakaria or Face the Nation. That is nothing more than really old 15-year-olds sitting on the back of a school bus ripping on people. Or if you're not from Pittsburgh, not ripping on people, it's called playing the dozens. That's not why they got elected. That's not why they're making 6 figures annually. It's ironic. When I went to Valley Forge just last night, we talked about pillars of civic responsibility. Is anything that's transpiring geopolitically with our military or domestically with our economy, does it resemble anything in regards to civic responsibility? Is anybody acting responsible? Is anybody jumping above the fray and staying on that level? Is anybody loving America and Americans more than their favorite Americans, their favorite political party, their favorite philosophy that may not work in real time? Likely not. Do I think it can change? Yes. Have we seen it change over the course of our history before? Yes. Is it impossible? No. Is it likely on this current course with these people in office? No. Not the way they complain. They could get a rally together. That's one thing Donald Trump did an excellent job of. Not as much anymore. But he was really, really good at drawing crowds at rallies. We saw that yesterday. We saw that with the Tea Party. We saw that with the Obama administration. Unless if there are fundamental changes for positive permanent change. Who cares? Now, I didn't list all four of those movements saying that all four of them were failures or all four of them were successes. My point was all four of them were really good at getting people together, people that thought like them. The way America works is getting people together that don't think like you all the time, might not like you any of the time, but will work with you enough of the time to make a better America. Dave and others, I'll get to you after the break on News Radio KDKA.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Don't know who to trust? Go with the sure thing. PJ Fitzpatrick has been your trusted roofer for 45 years. They've earned thousands of 5-star reviews and back all new roofs with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. The PJ Fitzpatrick team of experienced professionals install most roofs in just one day. Set up a free consultation this month to save thousands. Plus, they have a variety of financing packages that work with any budget. Don't wait. Visit trustpj.com today.
As veterans, we've lived through ups and downs. For many of us, alcohol's been there for both. Over time, we realized that a bottle of beer isn't a bottle of beer. And 2 fingers of whiskey are more than just the liquid. What we're really consuming when we drink is time. Sometimes it's a good time. Time with new friends in a bar, old friends over cards, or just a moment to unwind at the end of a long day. Sometimes it's wasted time. Time that could be better spent focusing on things we never finished and reconnecting with those we lost touch with or pushed away. But sometimes that drink is time that gets out of hand. It's time spent apologizing. And sometimes it's time with a heavy cost. If you feel your alcohol consumption has become unmanageable, VA has treatments to help you manage. Visit va.gov/recovery.
Think back to the last time you were in nature. What comes to mind? Hiking through a lush forest, floating on a lazy river, or perhaps watching a vibrant sunset on a beach full of glistening plastic bottles and food wrappers. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Here in the U.S., we generate the most plastic waste in the world, with 70% of it ending up in landfills. And by the time you're done listening to this ad, more than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit wwf.earth/plastics.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain has started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF, or go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, ReliefFactor.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
All right, going back to the phone lines, 866-391-1020. Dave in San Francisco. You're on KDKA.
Oh, thanks, Lenny. Yeah, I was hesitant to call in during your last interview. I didn't want to kind of break her train. But I don't know if she, with investments, I suspect that Trump is just going to, crash the economy, and he's going to try to hyperinflate the value of everything, and so everybody will be left in the lurch. And so personally, my investments have been to invest in structural things. For example, my sister's roof needs fixing, fixing the back porch in my mom's house, different things. Make sure that your own stationary projects are well tended to. And that, to me, is old school conservatism. And when you look at Trump's old boys, those guys are gamblers. And a gambler is not a conservative. Gamblers are about as far from being a conservative as you can get.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're willy-nilly with their money, but I mean, what Terry Gioma was talking about was less about gambling and more about investing. I mean, part of what you really sidestepped was the fact that she talked about a process before you invest. She talked about different steps, different vetting mechanisms that she puts into place before she makes an investment, both whether it's a day trade or it's a swing trade. That is something that she talked about, talking about making the same type of analyses when it comes to decisions in life, and how that is in her book, The Risk Worth Taking, the fact that you have to go through a vetting mechanism before you take that risk. So it's not just kind of gambling. Gambling is just, I got 17, I bet you there's a 4 in there, and you just throw the money down. That's not what she was talking about. So, gently, I push back on you.
Her training is, 5 or 10 years ago? I think I heard maybe 8 years ago or so.
But she's still actively doing it. You think that she just kind of learned it and then just kind of stuck her fingers in her ears?
No. But in other words, when I took financial management, a major part of that was exactly what you're describing. Study your investments before you jump into them. Know the structures of them, know the supply chains, all sorts of things like that. But in terms of Trump and his tariffs, he's ripped apart most of the structures, all of the data that the American Department of Commerce puts together, or for that matter in commodities, Department of Agriculture. The data has been ripped apart. DOGE went into the various agencies and ripped apart the ability to gather data. And so what used to be a standard conservatism for the stock market has now been ripped apart. And I don't want to get all conspiratorial, but I don't trust.
You're about to. You're about to, Dave. Go right ahead. Thanks for you put the disclaimer out there, so I know where you're going. It's like saying I'm not going to make a left-hand turn at Albuquerque, but Bugs Bunny always seemed to make that left-hand turn at Albuquerque. But go ahead.
Well, that's why I was recommending fix your roof, fix your back porch. You
can do that, Dave. But you do realize that part of what she was talking about was there are ways of doing this and being smart and being able to live a more fulfilling life that allows you to do the things you need to do, whether it's pay your bills or travel. She's still successful doing that.
Right, yeah, don't do flighty things. And that's...
They're not flighty things. I mean, Dave, here, and I'm going to say this, I'll pass it back to you, then I got to go to break. It seems as though you're poo-pooing her success when she's shown a way of being prudent and profitable, which is what we're supposed to be trying to do in America, right?
Well, right, and that's why I didn't want to, get into a back and forth with her, because what used to be, I took financial management probably 30 years ago. It was after the savings and loans crooks, so it was probably closer to 40
It was 40 years ago. That was the 80s.
Yeah, and so, 86, so it's exactly
40 years ago, yeah. I was a history major, but I'm pretty good with basic math. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, the idea of a real investment, making sure that the gutters aren't washing away your backyard, making sure that your topsoil is in good shape, making sure that the trees aren't going to be, the branches aren't going to fall on your roof. that's a sound investment. And with the pack of gamblers that are in government right now, and I'm talking federal government, those guys do not care. They actually, if you remember the World Trade Organization,
I do, but you bring up something. I got to go to break, Dave. I appreciate your phone call. To say gamblers in the federal government, and I understand where you're coming from with the Trump administration and some of the spending that we're seeing there. Dave, you live in California. That's not exactly the most solvent fiscal state. Everything's super expensive, and people are continuously leaving it because there's a claim by moderates and independents and people on the right that there's a bunch of gamblers in Sacramento. I'm just going to put that out there. But as always, I appreciate your phone call. I appreciate others as well, including Cynthia's and the other people that have called in to 866-391-1020. Appreciate it so much that Mike has persuaded me to keep the phone lines open. Now, Mike does that pretty well. He persuades me in all the right ways while I'm on these airwaves. So I'm going to be persuaded again to leave the phone lines open. But I am forced to go to news first. But then I will be forced by Mike to go back to the phone lines here on News Radio KDKA.
Don't delay in getting that plumbing repair done. Call Palucci Plumbing today for all of your plumbing needs. From trenchless sewer repair and waterline repairs and replacement, hot water tanks, sewer camera inspections, to Pittsburgh body repairs, no job is too small for Palucci Plumbing. Owners Amy and Nick Palucci have been in business for 26 years, so give them a call for your next plumbing repair or replacement. Palucci Plumbing, 412-782-5050. That's 412-782-5050.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for the Coons Cooking Hour with Rob Pratt and the Coons Market team when they discuss Easter traditions and ham and lamb recipes. It's the Coons Cooking Hour, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. TSA agents could start getting paid as soon as tomorrow under a directive from President Trump. Congress has not passed funding to fully reopen government. Border Czar Tom Homan tells CBS.
We just need to get the department funded. They want to talk about immigration policies. We can talk about that. But why do you got to hold the rest of DHS hostage to do that?
Before approving funds, Democrats like Congressman Jim Himes want immigration agents reined in.
We're asking that guys not dress like Navy SEALs when they go into Minneapolis. We're asking that they wear badges the way every other police officer does, that they have warrants when they break down doors. This is basic adherence to the law.
NASA's first lunar mission in half a century could take place as early as Wednesday. Artemis II Commander Reed Weissman.
I have flown a spaceship manually, and I can tell you it's pretty awesome.
He and Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen plan to fly around the moon and splash down in the Pacific after a 10-day mission. CBS News Brief, I'm Heather Bosch.
Pittsburgh is on the clock. Our comprehensive draft coverage is powered by Bowser Chevrolet. It's more than just the players. It's the vibe of the city. Where to go? What to do? We have you covered. It's presented by Target Freight Management and brought to you by your local AAA travel office and by Groundworks, formerly Baker's Waterproofing. On the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Having trouble keeping up with your electric bill? Duquesne Light Company can help customers manage costs through their Customer Assistance Program. Flexible payment plans, budget billing, rebates, and more. Duquesne Light realizes these are difficult times, and they are all committed to supporting our communities. Discover how you can save money and stay comfortable in your home year-round by visiting DuquesneLight.com/assistance. That's DuquesneLight.com/assistance.
As veterans, we've dealt with noise. From chains clanking as they're clamped onto cargo, to orders coming down the chain of command. We can handle that kind of noise. Back home, the noise is different. Seems like everyone's talking all at once and over each other because they just want to be heard. They're taking selfies and oversharing. But we know that it's not about hearing. It's about listening. Listening to what's actually happening with our fellow veterans. Understanding each other because we share the same experiences, the same vocabulary, following the same paths that others have walked. If only we can pick up the trail. Make the Connection is a place for veterans to hear stories from other veterans. Listen and learn about why you're not alone at maketheconnection.net.
Italian subs for your finance team at Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Free edition only, roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is taxes.
Love that jam. Up next, commercials.
Intuit TurboTax Free Edition. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, Student Loan Interest, and Schedule 1A.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Clouds tonight with a low of 51 degrees. Breezy tomorrow with a shower or two around, a high 65. A thunderstorm in the evening, and then a shower later tomorrow night, low 59. Then record warmth Tuesday. For AccuWeather, I'm Kerry Schwindedhammer, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. Stay warm, get through the weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Lots to talk about. 2 to 6 right here, KDKA.
All right, Lenny McAllister with you until 6 o'clock in the afternoon on the Marconi Award-winning News Radio, KDKA. 866-391-1020. Going back to the phone lines. Much to talk about. And I saw something on my phone that I'm going to bring up after we get through some of the phone calls. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to get to the phone calls first. Gary in Georgia, you're on KDKA.
Hi, Lenny. Thank you. I think we're talking about money, this, that, and it's greed. It's entrenched greed. I think, in my view, yeah, there's a lot to live for. America's beautiful. I'm very thankful, extremely thankful, like others. But the reality is, and I've been on this planet a few years, the greed is more entrenched than ever. And I see people, good people. I think people are getting a little too full of themselves, if you will, to say another word. Sure of themselves, okay? a little bit too much, and I see a lack of humility with money. And I think it's hurting. I think it's something we're not talking about. I'll talk about it. I'll continue to talk about it because I think that's the root of it. I mean, we can back off some. Be more humble with the rich, the very super rich. God bless them. Be a little more humble with it. I know a lot of people that have given to charities, and it's true. But basically, it's entrenched greed is what I'm talking about.
Well, and Gary, I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I think that you bring this up, and I understand your point, and
we're too sure of ourselves.
Well, and part of it, there used to be a time where there was a certain level of shine that people would get because they gave a lot. I mean, it's funny because I was listening to the radio. I was coming back from Valley Forge after my speech last night, and I was listening to a song, if I may, a song from the 1990s where the guy that produced the song was bragging about all the groups that he was producing. But the sentiment behind it was the guy was showing how important he was because of how he was helping all these other people. There was a time in America where part of the esteem of being uber rich, being uber famous, being uber influential was, I'm the man, I'm the woman, because I helped make 20 other people stars. I made 50 other people millionaires. And that was the thing to brag on, not, hey, look at my house, hey, look at my car. And there's been a shift in that where it's become so me-centric now that there is no benefit of having all those resources if it's only going to one end versus creating more wealth elsewhere organically.
Bingo. You explain the other side, what I'm really talking about in a different way, a very healthy way, and I commend you for it. Look. Personally, I don't feel I have a jealous bone in my body. Maybe I'm, lucky about that. I never was that way. And I understand it takes money. Money can help. It can make people comfortable, which it should. I'm just not. I just see a culture that I don't know. I think we're ahead of ourselves. If we're not, what you mentioned before I go here, how you described it was brilliant. Also. If we're not, why are we 38 trillion in debt? If we're so, why are we still 38 trillion in debt?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, Gary, is because of what we spend our money on. It's what we, and a lot of it too is, what do we call important? I mean, if what we call important is spending money to influence politics and other portions of the world exclusively. I mean, you can't say you want people to be self-determinative, and then the moment they go a little bit in a direction you don't like. For example, I mean, let's go. We're talking about Iran a lot. Part of what was going on in Iran in the early 1950s was they wanted more control over their oil production. We said, not so much. We're going to go overthrow your government, and we'll install the Shah. There's been other instances in American and world history. It's not just the Americans. It's not just us.
Can I ask you a closing question?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm really curious because I have a lot of respect for you.
Thank you.
For your knowledge and your fairness and your honesty. I really do. And so the question is, how do you feel the war is going?
It's not going in the direction we want it to go. Number one. Number two, I think that if you're going to be preemptive, but you don't really care about regime change to the point where you don't change about how they fundamentally enact and conduct government. If you're not talking about going back to establishing a democratic or democratic-ish type of environment in Iran, then why did we do that in the first place? If we obliterated their nuclear capabilities for weaponry in June of last year, why did we do a preemptive strike at the end of February now? And why did we have to do it with only one other country? It kind of seems to be reflective of the philosophy of we don't need NATO, which makes me very nervous because we had NATO to make sure that the former Soviet Union, now Russia, was not as aggressive in Eastern Europe as they ended up being over the last decade or so. So if we're going to eschew our allies that have been with us, let's just be honest. When you start talking about the French, you start talking about the British, you're talking about allies that have been with us since the turn of the 20th century. So
it's a lot.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all good.
Really
what are we going to say, Gary?
You sure? Just one. Okay, thank you. You're very kind. You're very kind. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
I heard, give me chills here, Lenny. It's a lot, in closing, for the second last time. It's a lot, something I paid attention to a long time ago about war. And that is a statement is it's a lot easier starting a war than ending a war.
Yeah, it is. And Gary, I appreciate your call as always. I mean, it's kind of, not to trivialize this war to launching casinos, but it's a lot easier to launch a casino and go bankrupt than it is to get out of bankruptcy and do the things that you need to do to pay your employees and do those type of things. Now, it's ironic that there have been passes continuously for a behavior that's been consistent over decades. And I know there are people out there at 866-391-1020 that are saying, you just hate Donald Trump. I am certain there are people out there saying, you got TDS, as if I'm going to be offended by you throwing out 3 letters. But the real challenge is this. When you see a consistency of character, regardless of the resources available, sometimes people do things because they don't have resources available. But when you have resources and means and opportunities and second and third and fourth and fifth chances, and you do the same exact thing, maybe not the same exact action, but the character, the intent, the flavor, if you will, are the same, that's indicative. And what we're going to see with this quote-unquote excursion is going to be, it's a lot easier to go pound the table, kick over the garbage can, Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm talking about? Look up the skit. Than it is to make peace. That's where statesmanship comes into play. And let's just be honest, we don't got a whole lot of statesmen in government anymore. We just don't have one in the White House. And in fact, people since 2016 literally have said on both sides of the aisle that I'm going to vote for people that I know are not statesmen. We know the name Marjorie Taylor Greene, the former MAGA mama, not because she was a stateswoman. It's because she was kicking garbage cans around. There are other people in office. Again, everybody wants to make it seem as though, and I know I keep bringing up this individual from time to time, not all the time, but John Fetterman was not popular on the left before he became popular on the right because he was a statesman. It was because he was poking the other side in the eye with his finger. I'm so far to the left that I'm going to marry people even though it's illegal to do that in Pennsylvania, and I don't have a legal right to do it as a mayor. But I'm going to stick you in the eye with my finger and tell you, see who's boss. I'm going to fly a flag outside of the lieutenant governor's office. Not because I could or should or this is legal or not legal in Pennsylvania, but because I'm going to stick my finger in your eye. I'm going to go on Fox News and say that the Democratic Party is run by TDS now. Not because I'm trying to bring people together, but because I'm going to stick a finger in the eye. And when you don't have statesmanship in key positions with key platforms, making a case to move in a better direction past troubles and tribulations, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have a whole lot of people that talk an awful lot about hard power. And that's literally what's been going on with this administration. This administration, since January of 2025, has been really good at breaking things. Hard power, DOGE, ripping down DEI, tariffs, now this quote-unquote excursion. It's the same character. It's very easy to show quote-unquote strength through force. Well, guess what? Go force your leg through a, glass door. See what happens. You'll cut an artery and bleed to death. Congratulations, you proved that you were strong enough to kick that glass in. And what does it get you? Warmness all across the concrete. Lightheadedness, dizziness, disorientation. Those are physical symptoms, but does that not seem to describe America right now? As we lose our lifeblood, lack of job growth, lack of economic growth, lack of civic pride, lack of hope. Can't go around kicking glass doors all the time. Eventually, you're going to bleed to death. 866-391-1020. I'm going to go get a bandage for this bloody leg I have from kicking glass doors, proverbially speaking. Then I'm going to come back after the break on News Radio KDKA.
It's the little things. The information you need. People you know. The little things that make a big difference. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Atom X by Audion Hearing. The Atom X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly. At home, at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Atom X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audion Hearing now at 800-295-HEAR. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Atom X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HEAR for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audion Hearing.
Think back to the last time you were in nature. What comes to mind? Hiking through a lush forest, floating on a lazy river, or perhaps watching a vibrant sunset on a beach full of glistening plastic bottles and food wrappers. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Here in the U.S., we generate the most plastic waste in the world, with 70% of it ending up in landfills. And by the time you're done listening to this ad, more than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit wwf.earth/plastics.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Pittsburgh Mayor Corey O'Connor. Very atypical with the NFL draft and all the things that are going on.
We're all excited. It's coming fast. But we also want Pittsburghers, and I say this wherever I go, this is also your city, this is your draft. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of people coming from across the country, but we want Pittsburghers to be ambassadors.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for moms.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
Eight 866-391-1020. Now, there's a reason why I am constantly pointing back to some of these things. And I actually mentioned this to the kids in Valley Forge yesterday. They asked me, what's probably my most favorite thing to do in what I do with my life, professionally and politically? And, of course, I was being silly in one regard, and I said, to the chaperones in the back of the room, So this seems to be a softball question. I should probably say talking to them, right? They laughed. And then, of course, I said, it's talking to you, of course. And then, of course, they laughed. But it's true, and the reason why that's the case is because it seems as though they're more inclined, as much as they don't have as much faith in the American dream as my generation did, and my generation had waning faith. You know, the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s did a number on America. When you have a president resign, it erodes hope that people will do things the right way. Just like, and I will get into this at the top of the hour, just like the report that came out that said that somebody, a nebulous somebody, made millions of dollars on bets over what the government would do over the last several weeks, including attacking Iran. Somebody in the stock market, somebody on the betting market made a whole lot of money knowing what the government would do before the government did it. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about something else that's come out politically over the last couple of weeks as well. Top of the final hour. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. When you talk about a president resigning in 74, you talk about president going in front of the people during the State of the Union and saying the state of our union is not strong. It is not good. When you talk about the following president going in front of the people and saying we have a crisis of confidence. When you go back to 68 and two of the leading figures in the United States are shot and killed. When you go back to 65 and one of the leading civil rights activists shot and killed. Presidential candidate in the late 60s, shot, not killed. But shot after he was advocating violence to keep segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. And that came around the same time as a president of the United States was shot and killed in front of hundreds, if not thousands, of witnesses. And that was after we watched people brutally attack Americans who just wanted their constitutional rights. And that was after fighting fascism throughout the world, particularly in Europe, by way of Nazi Germany. That's a whole lot of stuff to go through. So America was scarred, and yet this generation of young people who have every right to not believe in capitalism as much anymore, have every right to not believe in the American dream anymore, because we haven't done a very good job of living up to those values whenever we hit a bump in the road. It is easy to be proud to be American when you're making $125,000 a year and you live in a suburb and everybody around you votes the same exact way you do. It's much different to do that in a grocery store with somebody that doesn't look like you. And in those instances, over the last several decades, we have not been as good at that as we want to say that we are. But those young people still are willing to believe. They still want those values to mean something, and they're looking for people to show them how they still do. And so that's why I continuously go and speak at those groups, and that's the reason why I bring it up when I talk to you on the airwaves about it. Because if we're not constantly going back to that and trying to find ways to bring it into everyday life, both the muckety-muck values, been using muckety-muck lately. I like that phrase. It's actually a hyphenated word. It's not a phrase. But I still like it. We can talk about those values at a aspiring level. Aspiring is a synonym for muckety-muck. But you also got to find a way to institute it in everyday American life in a contemporary fashion. That takes talent. That takes intentionality. And it takes civic love that is more than just calling people maggots or victims of TDS. And hopefully we'll have more people that will do that in 26, 27, 28. Because right now we need them. 866-391-1020. I do want to talk about that bet on Wall Street and in the markets. I also want to talk about a rather interesting congressional candidate that lives in Florida. Who's, I won't even tease you with, well, yeah, I will. Whose three most famous words that he's affiliated with are, and I quote, "me so horny." Yeah, that dude's running for Congress. You don't know who I'm talking about? Go look it up. You got some time. Listen to the news. Go look it up. Catch me during the last hour after the news on News Radio, KDKA.
A marvelous March full of great savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, Sugardale semi-boneless whole ham is $1.19 a pound. In the produce department, fresh red ripe strawberries, 1 pound containers, 2 for $5. In our deli department, available every Friday, Coons batter dip fish sandwiches, $11.99 each. And additional savings this week, essential everyday regular unsalted butter, 1 pound quarters, $1.99 each.
At Coons Market.
Looking for health insurance for employees in multiple locations? UPMC Health Plan National Access has you covered. UPMC National Access gives employees access to the top-ranked doctors and hospitals of UPMC, along with nationwide access through the Cigna Healthcare PPO network for employees outside of the service area. For the quality, affordable coverage that your company deserves, choose UPMC Health Plan.
Ready to start thinking like Wall Street without leaving Main Street? Tune in Sunday mornings at 6:30 for a slice of advice with Kelton Burgess, right here on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA, covered by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Heather Bosch. The U.S. is reducing Iran's stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz, a vital route for oil tanker traffic. Former CENTCOM commander and retired General Frank McKenzie tells CBS's Face the Nation.
We're reducing Iranian ability to target ships in the Strait through their short-range missiles, their drones, and other activities. We do that by maintaining air superiority over southern Iran on a 24/7 basis, looking for where these missiles are and striking them relentlessly. Once we reduce those to a very low level, then you'll be able to go in, if necessary, sweep for mines. I'm not certain they put mines in the water yet. I predict eventually they will. It's their nature. But we have the ability to do this.
Citing talks with Iran, President Trump extended the deadline to April 6 for Iran to open the strait or face attacks on their power plants. The Pope is weighing in on war.
Pope Leo marked Palm Sunday by calling for an end to violence, reflecting on the passion of Jesus Christ. In his homily at a Mass in St. Peter's Square, he described Christ as the King of Peace and urged the faithful to reject war. Lay down your weapons, he said, emphasizing solidarity with victims of conflict and suffering worldwide. Sabina Castelfranco, CBS News. Rome.
TSA staffers could start getting paid as soon as tomorrow under a directive from President Trump. But Border Czar Tom Homan tells CBS's Face the Nation.
We're going to continue a nice presence there until the airports feel like they're 100% in a posture where they can do normal operations.
Many TSA staffers have quit during the partial government shutdown. ICE agents have been deployed to help ease long airport security lines. For the first time since 1972, NASA has started a countdown to send astronauts toward the moon.
Artemis II Commander Reed Weissman and his 3 crewmates are in quarantine at the Kennedy Space Center. Weissman says they get to go outside to check out their spacecraft.
And every chance we can, we're going out to Pad 39B and just looking at that amazing vehicle that this incredible team has put together.
The vehicle is the 322-foot-tall Space Launch System rocket and its Orion spacecraft, both flying for the first time with humans aboard. If all goes as planned, Artemis II would launch Wednesday, loop behind the moon, and test hardware for future landings come as soon as 2028. Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
At the box office.
Sun is dying. You're the only scientist who might know what this is.
I'm just a teacher at Grover Cleveland Middle.
Project Hail Mary, starring Ryan Gosling, is now projected to earn $54.5 million this weekend, the #1 spot in its debut. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at jtv.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
High school singing groups are giving new voice to Beyonce's music.
2 years after Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album dropped, her song is becoming an anthem for school choirs. The director of the Germantown Friends a cappella group in Philadelphia says a student, Ryn Patterson-Jordan, recommended it and wound up getting the solo. She said she feels like a vessel delivering Beyonce's message about reclaiming country music and what it means to be a black woman in America. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
While Project Hail Mary is #1 at the box office, Disney Pixar's Hoppers is second in its 4th weekend, earning more than $12 million. I'm Heather Bosch. This is CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Cloudy tonight, the low 51. Mainly cloudy and breezy tomorrow with a brief shower or two, high 65. A stray evening thunderstorm, then a shower later tomorrow night, low 59. For AccuWeather, I'm Kerry Schwindedhammer, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
All right, final hour. Lenny McAllister with you until 6 p.m. I will be back with Larry Richert, 8 a.m. on the Big K Morning Show tomorrow morning. Here every Monday, 8 to 9. You'll be able to catch up to me then, of course. Big news out. And I think I'm going to do this. I think starting next week, starting with April, I will start putting little nuggets out there of the book, A Venn Diagram of One, An American Story. That is my book that's coming out August 11th, 2026. Frederick Douglass Books, distributed by Simon & Schuster. I had Terry Ijeoma on. Her book, The Risk Worth Taking. Her book's coming out on Frederick Douglass Books as well as being distributed by Simon & Schuster. So, FD Books, Simon & Schuster distribution. Her book's coming out in July. Had a chance to talk to her earlier in the show. But I think what I'm going to do starting next week is I'm going to drop a line or maybe one or two lines from the book just to kind of give you all a flavor of what I'm talking about in the book. And again, if you get a chance to go online, go to a Venn diagram of one. You can go to my website, www.lennymcallister.com. You can see not only what I've been working on, but also you can see where you can go pre-order the book. You can pre-order the book right now. The cover is a unique cover design. It has the Clemente Bridge on it for all of us Pittsburghers. It does have the DuSable Bridge on it for all of us that love the south side of Chicago. It also has some water underneath those bridges. And those are not via the confluence here in Pittsburgh. They're from Lake Norman, where I met my lovely wife and where I graduated from college. Lake Norman is where Davidson College is located. So if you look at the design and you go, that's kind of interesting. I kind of understand that bridge. I don't know where that is. That second one's Chicago. All right, what's that underneath? Shores of Lake Norman, North Cackalack. Just putting that out there. Again, LennyMcAllister.com. You can find more information about that. In the meanwhile, 866-391-1020 going to the phone lines. Again, Craig in West Virginia. Good evening, kind sir. You're on KDKA.
How you doing today, Lenny?
What's going on, child of God? How are you?
Doing good. I'm gonna approach this little bit of airtime you're going to give me in a different manner, if you don't mind. I really don't think it's always appropriate for the caller to ask the host questions, but I really would like to have your opinion on a few things.
So let me ask you this. If you said, if I don't mind, what happens if I mind, Craig? What if I say, no, Craig, you're already calling from West Virginia. You're not even in Pennsylvania. How dare you ask me questions? What would you say then?
I'd say, Mr. Moore, if you're listening, give me a call. I'll get some questions after.
Chris, we miss you, man. No, I'm just kidding, Craig. Go ahead. And we do miss him, but that was I like that. Touche. Continue, sir.
No doubt. Did you happen to catch the Todd Blanche interview from CPAC?
I did not. I heard a lot of reports from CPAC. I was going to go and then declined to go. I did not hear, but I'm willing to hear what you're going to report.
Well, it was just crazy the way they were bragging about gutting the Department of Justice. And it wasn't even what he said, it was how he said it. It really makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And that type of attitude, this is what made me call today. When Donald Trump tweeted out on December 16th, 17th, whatever it was, of 2020, to everybody to gather at the ellipse, did your insurrection radar alarm go off, or did you see what was coming?
Me?
Yes.
Well, when you look at how everything was going on, Craig, where you're looking for votes in Georgia, you're questioning the results in other states, you're not conceding or giving a concession to the election. When it's going down that path over weeks, and then that call comes out, yeah, it's pretty easy to see that, okay, look, we're going to try to pressure people one more time to not accept these votes and try to halt the process on January 6th. I saw that coming. I didn't see people storming the Capitol. I didn't have that on my bingo card. But did I think that they were going to try to stop the election one way or another, or try to pressure people into not accepting the results of the election on January 6th? Absolutely. I thought it was going to that. And I want to get to something else that you said initially with Todd Blanche's speech and the tone, which I did not hear. But here's what I do take out of it, Craig. There was a point of time where people talked about the cost and size of government, and you had to shrink government to make it more appropriate, to be more efficient, and allow for democracy to work at its best. But there's a point of time where you can shrink the cost and the bloat of government, and we've gone now into, and we need to remove certain aspects of government so that we can get our way. Now, that is no longer democracy. You're going past the point of getting rid of bloat within a bureaucracy within democracy, and you start moving towards autocracy. And there's too many people within the conservative movement that are just not conservative because they have willingly crossed that line from shrinking the bloated bureaucracy within a democracy, and they've gone straight over to autocracy, and they have no problem not only moving over there, but they've literally gotten a mortgage and bought furniture to live there. And that's where they are now. And that is what I think has transpired within many mindsets within the conservative movement.
And that's what I used to think. And now, the more I look at MAGA, I think it's a theocracy and not an autocracy. I think MAGA is no different than what's happening in Iran. I truly don't. And that leads to my third question.
No, hold on. So let me push back on that. I will let you get to your third question. But I push back on that because I think that religion is not a driving force like it is in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Here it's an adjective as part of the sentence. The sentence is, we have a strong leader, and then the description after that is, who is also Christian. Versus in Iran, it's, our leader is strong because they're Muslim. It's not quite the same. I understand where you're trying to go, but it's less about theocracy in America than it is for some about autocracy, which is, look, we need to remove these impediments so that we can get this agenda driven by this one individual or this one personality, which then always goes back to the March of the Black Republican. Change you can believe in, but not coming from a politician or a government program, which is something that applies regardless of political party. Go ahead, sir. Third question.
Well, just to follow up on that, and the reason I made the statement that I made was because listening to KDKA, you hear Republicans call in like Dan, and he's a normal Republican, but there are so many Republicans that call in, and in the same sentence of using Donald Trump's name, you'll hear he's here to save us. God has sent him. Things that you would hear on Sunday sitting in a pew, not on a radio station. These people will follow him to the ends of the earth, and that's why I make that comment.
Okay.
Third question is that did you watch all 12 hours of the January 6th hearings?
I watched some of them, but I mean, it's obviously been a while. But where do you want to point me to?
Well, I'm just saying is that I truly believe that, and I've watched it probably 4 times, and every time I watch it, I learn something new. And I truly believe that if Republicans, I don't know a single Republican here in West Virginia, and there's a whole slew of them, that has ever watched, at least they admit that they have never watched a single hour of it. And I believe that if Kamala that would have been her backdrop of her campaign, that we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. It is so important to watch what took place in that time frame.
Well, I don't agree with that, Craig, because the bottom line is Americans collectively are too short-sighted to do that. That came up repeatedly in 2024. Kamala Harris spent a lot of time saying, if you all elect this guy again, he's going to surround himself with individuals that are going to allow him to do whatever he wants. And whatever he wants means dismantling government. Whatever he wants means dismantling our alliances. And whatever he wants means allowing the wrong people to have free reign geopolitically and getting on the right people for trying to do the right things. Those things were repeated again and again and again and again. And I will facetiously remind people that it was all about the cost of eggs.
I hear you. Last question, then I'll let you go, and appreciate the time. Since Operation More Redactions has happened in Iran, has it even entered your mind of Donald Trump dropping a nuke there? Just driving down the highway one day and you're thinking about what's happening over there, has it entered your mind?
Has it entered my mind that this administration has so little restraint overall that if they feel like they have to use hard power by way of dropping a nuclear weapon, that it would be at least considered? Yeah, because I think that they feel like the only way to speak the geopolitical language that works is hard power. And so if your military on the ground is not going to do it, and your air superiority is not going to do it, and your economic sanctions are not going to do it, do I think that an administration without restraint would consider the next option? I think they would consider it. I don't know if they would do it, obviously, but do I think they would consider it much more than the average administration? Yeah, I do, number one. And number two, Craig, I will go to this as well. It's not as if those voices weren't always around presidents, going all the way back to Kennedy. The difference is there were presidents that would say right off the bat, when somebody would offer that option, they would look at the individual and say, I'm going to tell you one time, you're nuts. If you bring it up again, I'm throwing you out of here. That's what every president, by and large, on the right and on the left did for years. Now we have a president that doesn't have the same level of diplomatic restraint. And as a result, I think that voice that's always been in the administration, that's always been in the military, might be in a minority, but it's always been there. I think that voice gets larger credence and larger, opportunity to lay out their quote-unquote reason than before. I think there is much more of a possibility now for somebody to be able to say, Mr. President, let me lay this out to you. All you have to do is drop one weapon, and I guarantee you nobody will mess with us for 25 years. And they would get a chance to say that. Whereas with Biden, Obama, Bush 1, Bush 2, Reagan, others, there were people that would just not even try to part their lips to say that because they know that regardless of whether it was Reagan or either Bush or Obama or Clinton, the response would probably be cutting of eyes and possibly tossing out of people out of the Oval Office like Jazzy Jeff on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Well, there were people around him in the first term that talked him off the ledge on January 6th. He don't have those same people around him,
including Ivanka.
Exactly.
There hasn't even been too many Ivanka Trump sightings, let alone anybody else like your Rex Tillerson. We're calling Rex Tillerson the voice of reason these days, which is saying something.
The main goal is to keep your eye on the prize, and his eye on the prize is not to leave. He wants to stay there, and he's going to use every option available this time, and nobody's going to talk him off the ledge. I always enjoy the conversation. I will read your book, and as always, thank you for the time.
Craig, I do appreciate your phone call. 866-391-1020. See other people calling in, including Anthony from Oakland. I will get to him in just a second, but I got to go to a break because Mike's glaring at me, and I don't like when he glares at me, so I'm going to break on News Radio KDKA.
Your source for everything that's news. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Every family vacation looks different. Maybe this year it's ocean waves in Myrtle Beach. Maybe it's lake mornings in Deep Creek. Maybe it's palm trees and turquoise water in St. Thomas. Wherever your next memory takes you, SWAC Vacation Rentals has the space, comfort, and experiences that bring everybody together. And when you book direct, you get the best homes at the best price without the extra fees. Start planning your next trip at SWAC, SWACK vacations.com. That's SWACvacations.com.
Don't delay in getting that plumbing repair done. Call Palucci Plumbing today for all of your plumbing needs. From trenchless sewer repair and waterline repairs and replacement, hot water tanks, sewer camera inspections, to Pittsburgh potty repairs, no job is too small for Palucci Plumbing. Owners Amy and Nick Palucci have been in business for 26 years, so give them a call for your next plumbing repair or replacement. Palucci Plumbing, 412-782-5050. That's 412-782-5050.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all.
One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Hear about it, then talk about it. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, going back to the phone lines, 866-391-1020. Anthony from Oakland, you were on KDK.
You know, I heard a lot of my friends and a lot of folks heard our conversation last week. They were in the barbershop, and they said, man, you amazed them because it's my generation. What year were you born?
1972.
Okay. Well, that's the same year Cosby, this woman accused Bill Cosby of raping her. And the only reason we know about these tales is because California and New York got rid of the statute of limitations.
Which allowed it to stretch all the way back, which is what that was part of the problem, is the fact that it to remove and then, by the way, to your point, Anthony, it was done in a way that was very retroactive. They did it as a response to Weinstein and Cosby. They didn't just do it because they said, well, you know, the studies have shown. No, it was, okay, we look bad, let's do something. Okay, let's overcompensate going in another direction.
Yeah, and not only that, I'm sure you know they resurrected something at Smokey Robinson and his wife.
I'm very well aware. I saw that came out about 4 to 6 weeks ago. I did see that as well.
And also there was one pending against the late George Foreman from 1974. So I mean, this is the most absurd nonsense that I've ever seen. It's unfair. For one thing, it's unfair because you as the person accused, they can publicize your name all day long. But the person who makes the accusation is
shielded. In many places, the media will shield that name. You're
it's absurd.
You're correct with that. Now, one of the things that I would often throw out there when it comes to these things is, okay, you want to take the risk of putting out an allegation that was 20, 30 years ago, and you want to attach it to a lawsuit. Great. Here's the 411. If I can prove that you're fabricating this, then whatever you were trying to, take from me, I get to countersue. Because there's one thing to bring up a situation from years on end. There's a different story when it stays nebulous. Now, I will say this. With the Cosby case in particular, with this woman from 1972, he admitted to well, yeah, I had Quaaludes, and yeah, I gave a lot of women Quaaludes, and yeah, I remember her, and yeah, I had Quaaludes on me at the time when I had her around, and yeah, we had sex, and there may have been Quaaludes involved. If you're gonna do all that, and then you get sued for rape in a civil suit, I have a hard time feeling bad for you because it seems like you did it.
Well, hold on. I read the deposition. I didn't hear all that in there.
That was reported. I will look at it again.
I read the deposition.
Okay, and I will
read the whole deposition.
Okay, and it was
not all that was in there.
Well, admitting
up stuff that came from the Philly case.
No, hold on, Anthony. But the bottom line is this. Hold on. First of all, I read multiple reports where he admitted to multiple aspects of this that leads to a conclusion where in civil court, you don't need beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes. Preponderance of the evidence.
Bingo.
I understand that.
So there you go.
Not 50-year preponderance.
Evidence is evidence. No, evidence is, in law, evidence is evidence. It doesn't say up to a certain point in time because they got rid of that point when it came to the law. They rescinded that, as you brought up. Therefore, it's just a preponderance of the evidence.
Well, let me explain why. Here's why folks my age and generation found what you said laughable. Because in 1972, if this woman wasn't a groupie and hanging out, knowing that this SEX is what she wanted, there's no way in heck that if she she woke up all foggy and nonsense, something happened to her, she doesn't go to a white district attorney in Los Angeles and tell him that Bill Cosby did this to me.
And what happened?
Her work.
They would not have. It's not automatic, and you keep saying this. And I keep.
They would have.
No, they would not have, because power.
You keep interrupting me. When that lady was on, you just let her just talk all day.
Anthony, go right ahead.
I'm telling you from my own life experiences and black life experience of 1972. I'm telling you, if this white woman would have went to a white DA, this is 30 years. 25 years before Rodney King, and told a white district attorney in Los Angeles that Bill Cosby did this to me, Bill Cosby would have been in jail so fast and it made your head swim. She had all the power.
So no, she didn't. And hold on, Anthony, I'm going to hold you. I'm going to let you go after the break, but I'm going to say this and then go to break. Number one, she did not, because she did not have all the money. Number two, she was a single mother who already was living on the fringes and periphery of society. That's number two. Number three, let's say she did go to the district attorney and somebody with deep pockets told the district attorney's office, I will take care of you if you make this go away. That's never happened in America before. When it comes to women on the periphery of society, when it comes to rich and powerful men, which Bill Cosby was, and the people behind him were, many, many, many things in America does boil down to race. You know what things boil down to even at a more basic level than race in America and always has? Money. You keep overlooking that. I will give you a chance to respond. I will go to Tom afterwards, but I'm going to the news first on News Radio KDKA.
Support St. Anthony school programs and help students with special needs achieve their full potential through inclusive education, therapy sessions, and job skills development, serving students ages 5 through 21 with Down syndrome, autism, and other intellectual disabilities. Find St. Anthony school programs within select Catholic schools in the Pittsburgh area, including a post-secondary program at Duquesne University. For over 70 years, they have empowered students of all faiths to live independently and contribute meaningfully to society. Learn more or donate at stanthonykids.org.
Y108 presents Odyssey the Night Before, powered by Bowser Chevrolet, starring Jason Aldean.
Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? I'm Jason Aldean.
With special guests John Morgan and Shane Prophet. Wednesday, April 22nd, inside the Event Center at Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh.
So we have a little bit of fun. Y'all ready?
You can't buy a ticket to this show. You can only win your way in. Full details at y108.com. Presented by Miller Lite and brought to you by your local AAA travel office, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, Ross Park Mall, and Broken Bow Records.
New to Medicare, get covered with MediConnect. Listen Wednesdays around 1:40 to hear Lance O'Brien of MediConnect help you navigate the Medicare process. Simply great, unbiased information to get you the best healthcare coverage. Get covered with MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. Pakistan's foreign minister says Islamabad will soon host talks between the U.S. and Iran during the war. But Carnegie fellow Karim Sajapur tells CBS's Face the Nation.
I don't see any possibility of a resolution to this conflict. I think the U.S. and Iran are miles apart when it comes to their goals here.
Speaking of war today.
Fratelli, sorelle, questo è il nostro Dio, Gesù.
During his Palm Sunday message, Pope Leo said Jesus is the King of Peace who rejects violence. TSA agents could be paid as early as tomorrow under a directive from President Trump. They've been without during the partial government shutdown. Democratic Congressman Jim Hines.
They should be paid. They should have never been held hostage. And we had a deal come out unanimously from the Senate that if it had passed, right now they would be getting paid, and we wouldn't be talking about the constitutional power of the purse.
CBS News Brief, I'm Heather Bach.
Planning for retirement isn't easy. If you don't know where to start, join Beth Andrews of Net Worth Advisors every Saturday at 1 for the Net Worth Financial Hour. Beth shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 1 to the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews of Net Worth Advisors. Net Worth Advisors, LLC, is a registered investment advisor.
The Pittsburgh Speaker Series at Heinz Hall, presented by University of Pittsburgh, announces its 26-27 season. 7 evenings to deepen your understanding of the world around you, featuring Anderson Cooper, former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, financial journalist Andrew Ross Sorkin, former NASA Administrator Charles Bolden, and the former U.S. Ambassador to China Nicholas Burns. The series is sponsored by News Radio KDKA and the Spanos Group of Raymond James. Tickets on sale now at pittsburghspeakers.org.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
For 50 years, Center for Victims has stood beside more than 1 million crime victims, providing supportive services and 24/7 crisis response across our community. Join them April 9th for their 50th anniversary gala, Lighting Candles in the Darkness, an inspiring evening of hope, healing, and resilience. Pittsburgh Earth Day's Ecolution Fashion Gala returns this year in a stunning new home, Heinz Hall, April 20th. Presented by Huntington Bank. Experience pop couture, fashion, fame, and obsession. A bold, high-energy dance musical exploring art, identity, and life in the spotlight. Schley Deck and Fence Company. Call today for an estimate on your rotten, rusted, paint shipping railings. Get your railings safe again by spring. Call 412-515-6575. Schley Deck and Fence. SchleyDeckCompany.com.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
When you're handling an estate or an inherited home, the decisions can feel overwhelming. At Homebuyers of Pittsburgh, we help families through this every single week. We make a quick, fair cash offer on the home, coordinate any cleanouts, help you through the process, and we'll buy it in its current condition. No pressure, no surprises. Visit homebuyersoftpittsburgh.com or call 412-500-9057 for help selling today. That's 412-500-9057 for help selling today.
Homebuyers of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's local trusted homebuyer since 2015.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know that KDK has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife Shelley and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travel with KDK.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Clouds tonight with a low of 51 degrees. Breezy tomorrow with a shower or two around, a high 65. A thunderstorm in the evening, and then a shower later tomorrow night, low 59. Then record warmth Tuesday. For AccuWeather, I'm Kerry Schwindedhammer, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. Stay warm, get through the weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Lots to talk about. 2 to 6 right here, KDKA.
All right, like I said, going back to the phone lines, Anthony, I'm going to give you a comment to reply to what I said, and then we're going to go from there. Go ahead, kind sir.
Yeah, see, this is what bothers my generation compared to yours. You're going to sit and tell me what I know in a year that you were just born. I was 18 years old in 1972. I know about California. I had relatives living there. You had Ronald Reagan as governor, Angela Davis in jail. You had George Jones, who got killed in jail because they said he had a gun in his afro. You had the Black Panthers arrested, the Weathermen, Civilian Liberation Army. 2 years later, you have Patty Hearst and those black. I mean, you don't know the atmosphere in California. Black folks were living in Beverly Hills. They didn't care how famous you were. Or Brentwood. So you're going to tell me.
So hold on.
Hold on, please. You're going to tell me what the atmosphere was like.
Yes, because I can still read a book.
Born.
I can still read a book. You act like I didn't read a book.
I lived it, man. I don't got to read the book.
So let me ask you a question. You brought up Brentwood. I'm going to ask you a question, all right? Tell me how many years, 20 years after this, when the laws were more accommodating the women that went through abuse, right? We can agree that 20 years after 1972, the laws were better than they were in 72, right? Right?
Go ahead.
Yes or no? You can act with. Okay, so I'm talking about. No, I got my point. You brought up Brentwood. Tell me how many years another celebrity that was black, O.J. Simpson, spent in jail for the times he assaulted and then allegedly killed his wife.
Oh, completely.
No. Was it? It was a completely different world, Anthony. It was a world. It was a world where women had more of a chance of getting justice for being assaulted than they did in 1972. And yet, tell me how many days O.J. Simpson spent in jail for assaulting his wife over the years. Whoa. You answer my question now.
He had the finest law team of all time. Bill Cosby in 1972 did not have the resources that O.J. Simpson had in 1994.
And neither did that woman.
You know what? You live in fantasy world.
Anthony.
Thank God.
Anthony. Go ahead and say your insult. I know you're going to say thank God.
Thank God. No, it's not an insult. Thank God. Because when my friends heard you, they said, "Oh yeah, he is a Republican because he's delusional."
Oh, so now see, this is what I mean about the insults. I literally brought up O.J. Simpson. Appreciate your call as always, Anthony, even though you're wrong. I bring up O.J. Simpson 20 years later. I ask you a very direct question. You know the answer. 0 days. Literally, we had recordings where Nicole Brown Simpson said, "You know who he is. I've called before. He harasses me. He's hit me. He's done this. He's done that." And the police would come past the house and allegedly ask for O.J. Simpson's autograph. We know that one of the most corrupt police departments over the years was out there in Los Angeles. It wasn't just corrupt because they were abusing black people, which they were, but it was also corrupt because people that were rich and powerful were able to pay off the police and get things to disappear like they did in other cities. They were not going to allow their cash cow to go to jail. We have seen powerful men, black and white, get away with all kinds of stuff because they were making too many people money. Now, I understand that your generation thinks that everything always boils down to race. Much of it and most of it did in 1972, but not all of it, because if it were all the case that way, just to again blow up your logic, how can you have a movie like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner Because the same laws apply. I don't care how much money they could have made off that movie. You're not going to have this black actor, Sidney Poitier, with this white woman on film. You're not going to have Jim Brown on film, literally, like I was going to say, with this white woman in bed. Same era. So you're sitting there saying that these rules applied to everybody, but they didn't because they were not, quote unquote, seen as being black. What did O.J. Simpson say himself in the 1970s? I'm not black, I'm O.J. Same era. And guess what? Hertz agreed. So did NBC. So did Hollywood. Now, doesn't make it right, but it did facilitate the ability to get rid of certain crimes, certain things that were sketchy, certain things that were just wrong. Like, for example, a grown-ass man showing up at Nicole Brown Simpson's high school, picking her up, and on a first date, allegedly date raping her, which is also written about. She wasn't of age when that happened. But in 1979, well, you know, she must have wanted it. She was 17 years old. So I understand that there's a little bit of the fuzziness of, well, she was around, she was a groupie. So what? If you're high as a kite and as an addict, does that mean you deserve to go through certain aspects of abuse? Maybe you shouldn't have put yourself in that situation, but it doesn't mean that you're just, whatever happens to you, happens to you. It doesn't make it not wrong. That's something my generation actually gets. And by the way, constitutional law and order Republicans get that too. 866-391-1020. Not that I'm mad, because I ain't mad. I ain't mad at them, ho. I ain't mad at you. Doe. What up, Doe? As if I'm from Detroit, which I'm not. But I read about people doing that in Detroit because despite being born in 1972, I've still read books and experienced things. Tom and Ross Township, you're on KDKA.
Yeah, I'm going to take a breath here.
Tom, I literally brought up an example from the same exact region 20 years later with the laws being more accommodating to help people get justice, and it was completely ignored. It's like, don't come and insult me and act like I don't know something when I can literally take one case that everybody knows about and go nuclear on your argument. Just, play nice.
Yeah,
and don't insult me about being a delusional Republican because you can't win an argument. That kind of is, come on now. Come on, child of God. Why are we doing that? But go ahead.
I don't want to see you get stressed out for
I'm
your
not
opinion.
stressed.
And if I ever call you any names, hang up on me.
This is terrible. Tom, this is radio. I'm not stressed. Look, stressful is when you can't pay the bills for your family. Stressful is when your kids can't eat. Stressful is America going to war. That's stressful. This is just us having fun on the radio and having an argument because this is what Americans do. Not stressed. Go ahead.
Yes, it's not quite football, but it can be entertaining. But it's really not when there's serious questions here. It's kind of entertainment, but then it isn't. Anyway, I saw Lindsey Graham and Senator from Oklahoma, James Langford, this week and previous weeks talking about its justification of what we're doing in Iran right now, what Trump's doing in Iran because they've killed Americans. Well, that's not. They're only giving one side of the equation here. They've been doing that for a long time. They're giving you one side. We have killed, I don't know how many more of those other foreign peoples, especially the Iranians, just from sanctions. And you remember weapons of mass destruction?
Yeah.
Most of them came from the United States with our name on it, with a proxy war that we gave Saddam, and then he never even went on trial for weapons of mass destruction because those details would have came out. They had chemical, biological weapons
Yes,
that
they did.
he used against Iran.
Yes, he did.
We've killed because of us, and we've enabled them to kill. I don't even know how many thousand people. So I don't want to hear Lindsey Graham or Langford give me one side of the story, like they keep doing to justify Trump's irrational decision.
Well, and here's the thing with that, Tom. It's the fact that it contravenes literally what Lindsey Graham was talking about when it came to Donald Trump, the candidate. He literally used to mock these type of positions that Donald Trump would allude to 10 years ago. No, he wasn't talking about attacking Iran. As a matter of fact, he was talking about both being, shooting from the hip, but also said that anybody that attacked Iran would be doing it because they were losing domestic battles. And he was talking about Obama at the time, and here we sit. But the thing with Lindsey Graham in particular is there was a time when Lindsey Graham was respected as being one that was really astute on foreign affairs. Ironically enough, the other person that was seen as being astute on foreign affairs was Joe Biden. And we saw how that worked out with Joe Biden. We saw how this is playing out with Lindsey Graham. But the point is,
they don't know. They seem to know their history very well.
And Tom, I appreciate your call. What they know very well is partisan loyalty. And that's what's frightening. Because when you have partisanship, you don't have statesmanship. You don't have people that are inclined to have a consistent truth throughout. They just have their emotionalism or they just have their point of view, and that's it. The facts don't move them from one point to another. And when you have a society like ours, where the government's supposed to be representative of the people and the people's will with facts and reason in play, and a certain set of laws guiding us along the way, if you throw that out the window, then you get what you're starting to get, or continuously what we're starting to get now as a people. One more phone call. Mike and Ambridge, you're on KDKA.
Yeah, you were talking about, like, Simpson and, man, what about the Epstein thing? How is that going down in America and nothing happening for those girls? I mean, the king ousted his brother.
No, I mean, Mike, it's you're to me.
He didn't do anything yet. He kicked his brother out.
Well, here,
come on, he looked silly with this Epstein thing. He really did.
I get that, and you're actually making my point, because it says on the board Cosby. You're making my point that there are people that will cover up for other people because either they're making too much money or they have too much prestige. And if you're going to do it in 2026,
it's right in our face, though. It's crazy.
Pardon me?
In our face. It's like right there.
Yes, but that's my point. That's my point, Mike. If that's going to happen in 2025 and 2026, and as I brought up with O.J. Simpson, that's going to happen in 1984, in 1988, in 1992, and in 1994. And I'm going to times where the laws were better than they were for women in 1972.
But they should be, it's 2026, and it hasn't changed for those women. Look what's going on with the Epstein thing. It's pushed under the rug. It's unbelievable that America's not doing anything about that.
Mike, Mike, that is my point, and I appreciate your phone call. That was my point about the Cosby thing. Now, you can get into should the statute of limitations go all the way back to 1972, when it's literally just his word, her word. Now, again, he damaged himself with some of the things he admitted to. He admitted to knowing her. He admitted to Quaaludes. He admitted to giving women Quaaludes for the purposes of having sex with them. I mean, in civil court, that's enough. You can make the arguments should the statute of limitations go all the way back there. Again, this isn't a criminal case. It doesn't in that regard. But, Mike, what you brought up, and again, I appreciate everybody's phone call, including Anthony's. I always appreciate his call and everybody else's call. The point I was bringing up with that is simply, if the laws are better now, and the laws were better in the 90s, and the laws were better in the 80s, and we still know that it's an underreported crime, where the police don't take it as seriously, society didn't take it as seriously, and there's always some type of justification to back up the men. And then the more powerful and the more affluence the men involved have, the less reported it is, and the less seriously it's taken. And then we go back 40 years? You're not going to convince me that, automatic black man plus automatic white man, or white woman, I should say, in 1972, 1968, 1969, within reason, there's not going to be some exception to the rule. No, it's 100% going to be this way. No, it's not. Too much money to be made in some instances. Too much affluence to be made. Too many personal connections. Things that we don't have access to. It's unfortunate that somebody would literally just, once again, go to the political affiliation or the, Kendrick Lamar, he ain't like us response with a disagreement, but, sometimes that happens. 866-391-1020. Going to break, then going off the air, but break first on News Radio KDKA.
We're only 25 days until the draft. Everything you need to know surrounding the draft is right here. It's brought to you by Bill Few Associates Wealth Management, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know that KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
Come on. No. It's just a golf lesson, champ. Loosen up. I can't. See that Hyundai Santa Fe? Yeah. I only paid to know. Finish up on your own. I gotta run.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid. Now, during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry. Offer ends March 31st. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's workiversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Like I said, I will be here for the Big K Morning Show tomorrow's 8 to 9 with Larry Richards, so tune in for that. Always enjoy having time here with you for these 4 hours. Appreciate all the phone calls. Again, if you want to, go to LennyMcAllister.com. Pre-order the book. I'd very much appreciate that. A Venn diagram of one. I will be continuously talking about that as we get to launch in August. In the meanwhile, I love you. I love you all, genuinely. I will catch you all tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. here on News Radio KDKA.